How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final fight. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Euro
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally,
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because
Yeah.
I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is that
problem.
what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah.
But
Please.
Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
Can we talk for a second about how just fucking rude people are on the internet? It's actually mind-blowing to me that people think some things are okay. Hang on one second, I'm gonna cough. It's like, what the fuck is going on Twitter today? What the fuck is... I've had to block, like, at least in just since I woke up this morning, which may have been around noon. Since I woke up around noon, between noon and now, I have had to block no less than like 6 fucking people on Twitter for overtly calling for violence and fucking murdering people in my feed. And just pro tip, if you ever do that in my replies, if you ever fed post in my replies by posting threats of violence, I don't care if you're saying to kill communists. I don't want to kill communists. I want communists to be concentrated in some sort of camp-like system where they can live long and happy and productive lives, and they have all their needs taken care of, and they're cordoned off from polite society. They can have their communist utopia within the concentration camp-like area, and we'll take care of them. I don't want anyone to die. I don't want anyone to get some sort of disease. I don't want anyone to, like, starve. I don't want any of those things to happen. I just want to take all the communists and concentrate them in a camp-like system with a giant ass wall around them, and then they can have their communist utopia in there, and we'll provide for their food and their basic needs and all that stuff. That is the price that we pay for living in a communist-free society. And I'm not really joking about this if I'm being honest about it. And that's but I don't want to kill anyone, and to really have to block people who can't resist the fucking urge to call for overt violence. You assholes know that will get used against me at some point, right? Am I taking that bullet because you're a fucking retard on the internet? No, I'm not. Nope. You can go and take that bullet yourself. You can put your identity out there as you're calling for violence and destruction, and you can experience the consequences of doing so under your identity. You're not inflicting that bullshit on me. But the bigger thing that people are rude about is, like, all of a sudden, everyone wants to tell me how to work out. All of a sudden, everyone's like, Karlyn, you should really do this, that, and the other at the gym. And why are you doing this at the gym? And why aren't you doing that at the gym? And I'm like, motherfucker, I used to spend up to 4 hours a day in the fucking gym. I have run many half marathons. I have run multiple fucking marathons, including the Boston fucking marathon twice. I just lost over 50 fucking pounds in a couple of months. Do you really think I need your advice on fitness or how to lose weight? I'm just like, excuse me. Obviously, what I'm already doing is actually having the desired effect, and I'm actually losing weight even much faster than I thought I was going to lose weight, which is pretty fucking great. And it's like, all of a sudden, all of these fucking men want to come into my Twitter feed and be like, excuse me, you should be doing this, that, and the other. And if you're walking on the treadmill, it should be at this % incline. And why are you even walking on the treadmill anyway? You should be going outside, and you're a stupid, dumb cunt if you don't go outside. They actually say this. They're like, you are a stupid, dumb cunt if you don't go walk in the park instead of on the treadmill. And so I have decided to institute a new rule. I have decided to institute a new rule about who can tell me how to work out and give me general fitness advice. Here is the rule, you douchey motherfuckers. If you have more Boston Marathon finisher medals than I do, then you can give me advice. This is the cost of giving me advice. You go get 3 Boston Marathon finisher medals, and I did these back to back, by the way, so you should probably do yours back to back as well. And then, and only then, you stupid motherfuckers, can you dare to give me fucking advice. Then, and only fucking then. I just like, I'm like, what the fuck makes you think that it is even appropriate for you to give advice about this? You have no idea about my history. You have no idea what I've done. You have no idea what works. You have no idea, by the way, what injuries I have that might force me to do things in a certain way. Because guess what? I ran the last Boston Marathon on a fucking injured leg. And so let's just say that that left some ramifications that I still deal with to this day, which is why I can't fucking run marathons anymore. So you have no fucking idea what's going on. It's incredibly rude. It's just incredibly rude. And so I just have to get that off my chest, because it's like someone goes to the gym a couple fucking times and they're like, let me tell you everything I know about all fitness, and you're a loser if you don't do this. I'm like, do you know that in my 20s, for at least 5 years, I spent 4 fucking hours a day in the gym? I was measuring out all my meals. I ate 6 meals a day to have my metabolism be going all day, because I was trying to drop weight, because I was doing half marathons, stuff like that. I spent mornings in the gym. I spent evenings in the gym. I spent my weekends fucking running for miles and miles and miles. Do you guys know that one time for the last Boston Marathon that I did, do you guys know I once ran 20 miles on a fucking treadmill? I want you think running 20 miles is difficult? Running 20 miles is not difficult. Running 20 miles outside, I firmly believe anyone can do it. You have to train to do it. You can't just roll out of bed and run fucking 20 miles. But like, running 20 miles outside is infinitely fucking easier than running 20 miles on a treadmill, which I was forced to do because the Boston Marathon, for people who are in New England, you know this, but everyone else doesn't know this. Boston Marathon's coming up, by the way. Victor and I might go to it. I haven't been to the Boston Marathon since the last time I ran it, actually. The Boston Marathon is in April. What that means is you have to do, I did a 5-month training program leading up to the Boston Marathon. You have to do the training program for the Boston Marathon in the winter. It is not always convenient to run outside in the winter in New England. And the last time I ran the Boston Marathon, I had to do 20 miles on the fucking treadmill in my living room because there was a massive fuck off ice storm outside. And you do what you got to do to run the Boston fucking Marathon if you have an entry into that race, because it is the Boston Marathon. It's the greatest road race in the history of the world. And I feel very lucky that I got to run it twice, because that was fucking awesome. Like, honestly and truly, running the Boston Marathon twice was like one of my big fucking things. Like, I love the Boston Marathon just as an event. If you've never been to the Boston Marathon, you should go. Like, it is just the greatest fucking day of the year in Boston. I maintain that. Unfortunately, people like to prove they're the smartest person in the room, even when they aren't, and it's irritating sometimes. It is incredibly fucking irritating. It is incredibly fucking irritating. All right, guys. Well, today, now that I've gotten that off my chest and I've told the gym bros to go fuck themselves, we have some important business. Thank you, Old Sub, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Hey, let's get that channel membership goal up. I don't know if we're going to meet the channel membership goal today. I think, I would like to meet the channel membership goal today. I hope we meet the channel membership goal. It is my birthday week. Can I take credit for a whole week of birthday? Like, it is my birthday week, just so you guys know. You're going to be hearing about it all week long. My birthday is on Sunday. That doesn't matter, except that we're going to do some sort of marathon stream on Sunday, and it's going to be awesome. And you guys can come give me super chats and channel memberships and stuff, and that'd be great to wish me a happy birthday. Obviously, how old am I going to be on my birthday, guys? How old am I going to be on my birthday? Does anyone remember? Yo, Old Sub W's! Thank you so much for starting us off with 10 channel memberships. Appreciate that, bro. Does everyone remember how old I am going to be on my birthday? 29. Correct answer. The correct answer. I am, of course, going to be celebrating My 29th birth. I don't know where you would get the idea that I'm 45 years old, almost bought. I don't know where you would get that idea. Why are you spreading such an evil fucking rumor? Why are you spreading such an evil rumor as to tell people that I might be turning 45 years old? Obviously, I am turning 20 fucking 9. 29. I'm turning 29. But you have to admit, would any of you guess that I'm actually my age? Can we just you guys don't even have to be nice to me. Be honest, be honest. One in the chat if you would guess that I might be turning 45 on Sunday. 2 in the chat if you think I look way fucking younger than that. 3 in the chat if you think I look older and I should permanently ban you from the channel. 1 in the chat if you think if you think that that I look my age. Wait, I forget the name. Wait, what did I do? What did I do? 1 in the chat if you think I look my age. 2 in the chat if you think I don't. That's what it is. The 2s are the good one. Pretty sure. That's the correct answer, by the way. 2 is the correct answer. Karlyn, of course you're turning 29. We would never suspect otherwise. Hey, thanks, Lago W. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for that. Maybe we will meet the channel goal yet. Sith over on Rumble says, happy birthday, Karlyn. I'm 52 on Thursday. Aries represent. Happy birthday to you, Sith. Thank you so much for the $5 Rumble rant. Really appreciate that. So we got a big week. Don't let my birthday, distract. Because we do still have to do, like work and stuff and things like that. And so we are gearing up to Mayday 2026. We are but a couple short weeks away from Mayday 2026. Now, unlike Fox News, who has just discovered that Mayday is a thing and that there's going to be a huge national mass leftist demonstration on May 1st, 2026, which is going to be a Friday, by the way. Unlike Fox News, who has just discovered this information, I've literally been covering this almost constantly since Mayday 2025. Because Mayday 2025 was the largest Mayday that the left has had in years and years and years. Mayday is like the International Day of Leftist Celebration. It's like the International Day of the Worker or something. It's like about like workplace laws. I forget exactly what it is. What I know Mayday as is Mayday will be a huge day of massive leftist bullshit. That's what it is. And so I've been covering this, pretty much constantly, because even after Mayday 2025, which of course was one of the biggest Mayday demonstrations that the left has had in decades, probably, all because Trump was back in office and so he's stirring up all this stuff. Mayday organizing never actually stopped. Fox News may have just discovered that this is a thing, but if you've been a member of my community since May 1st, 2025, you will know we have literally been covering Mayday organizing constantly since last year. 1 in the chat, if I am correct that the left has literally been organizing the coming mass day of action, and you've seen these organizing meetings and these organizing discussions for a solid fucking year on my channel. 2 in the chat if I'm a crazy person and I'm just making all this stuff up and, no evidence exists to support any of this. Yeah. So we are moving into several weeks leading up to what will inevitably be an extremely large leftist day of mass action. What they want to do is shut down workplaces, shut down schools, and shut down businesses. The refrain, which they are taking from the Minneapolis general strike, which was highly successful, got at least 100,000 people, if not more, to come into Minneapolis on a 20-degree below day. Like, let's really remember back to January. January 23rd, it was supposed to be 20 degrees below zero. This was a Friday. This was a general strike where they said no work, no school, no shopping. They got 100,000 people to come to Minneapolis and go outside for like several hours on a 20-degree below day. The day was phenomenally successful. Do not listen to any fucking conservative retard who says that this was stupid and they didn't accomplish anything and blah, 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 blah. No, fucking retards. Shut the fuck up. It was phenomenally successful. The right wishes they could get everyone to come out on a 20-degree below day to do fucking anything. The left can do that very easily because they organize this stuff all the time. So the Mayday organizing, ever since January 23rd, has followed this same refrain that they are using in Minneapolis. It's saying no work, no school, no shopping. What that means is they are going to go on strike from work for the day. You're going to see a lot of people calling out sick, taking vacation days, stuff like that. P.S. If you have a coworker that's, mysteriously absent on that Friday, chances are they might be a socialist or communist, just like FYI. It's nice. It's not total. I mean, they could actually be sick or something, I guess, but you can make some assumptions, I'm sure. You are also going to see mass walkouts from public schools. Kids all over the country are being organized by their teachers to do walkouts out of public school on May 1st. There's going to be mass demonstrations all over the place. We are going to try to be at as many of those mass demonstrations as possible. We'll talk more about that in a second. And they're also going to say no shopping, no spending money on business, no supporting capitalism. So they're going to be doing that too. Okay, so they're going to try to show that they can have an economic impact and actually shut down these pillars that kind of, make society run and all that good stuff. So that is going to be coming up. We are going to see a metric ton of planning about it over the next month. The PSL is one organization, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They are one organization that's organizing around this stuff. They are not the only one. We are going to see far more far left groups at Mayday protests than we are at the No Kings. So, of course, we're going to talk about the No Kings stuff in a second. I've got some data to share with you guys. Of course, many of us, we went to the No Kings protest. We gathered evidence. We're working on correlating that evidence. I'll show that to you in a second because I do actually have an update on that, and we're going to talk about that. But most of the groups at the Mayday protests were progressive groups. In fact, I can give you a specific number. 61% of the groups at the No Kings protests were progressive groups. 8% of them that we know so far were democratic socialist groups like DSA types, and 18% of them were far left revolutionary groups. We'll talk more about that in a second, okay? Mayday is a much more far left holiday. It's a holiday that, okay, when it comes to the No Kings protests, groups like the DSA are not directly involved in organizing the No Kings protest, but they will report back. They will tag onto it. They'll get a table at the No Kings protest and they'll hand out DSA stuff because it's a very fertile recruiting ground for them to recruit more people to the DSA. Antifa and other revolutionary communist groups won't be involved in the organizing of the No Kings protest because they hate progressives. But will they show up and hand out flyers and hand out newspapers and pamphlets and zines? Yeah, of course they will, because it's a mass audience of people and it's fertile recruiting grounds for them to pull more people in. So in the case of the No Kings protest, the point I'm trying to make is the far left, the DSA types, and the Antifa revolutionary types, they're not part of the organizing of that event. They don't even really like the people who are organizing that event. The only reason they're going is because it's a lot of people. And so they think that they can kind of recruit and radicalize more people to their group by just finding people there. And maybe they're right and maybe they're wrong. I happen to think they're correct because a lot of people hate the Democratic Party right now. But with Mayday, it's completely different. With Mayday, this is something that the far left is like, yeah, fucking Mayday. Mayday is like a far left holiday, okay? So we saw a lot of far left groups at the No Kings protest. However, we are going to see many, 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 many more at the Mayday protests. And so this is why it's extremely important for us to pay attention to this. This is going to be an excellent opportunity for people to go to these events, to figure out who's there, to collect all their propaganda. This is going to help us build out our map of the modern leftist activist ecosystem. Okay? And just like we did with the No Kings protest, I am going to be looking for volunteers to go and basically do recon, go collect intelligence at the Mayday protests. And so last time for the No Kings protest, we had people in over 31 different states, in over 47 cities. We had people on the ground collecting propaganda, taking pictures, writing down all of the leftist groups that are there. We're going to talk about that in a second. We're still bringing in that data and getting it together, but we have a fuck ton of data. And what this is going to do is it's going to help us map out which groups on the left are actively recruiting and actively going to these events to try to spread their message and to increase their numbers, because there are a fuck ton of groups on the far left. Anyone who has ever tried to map the modern left with me, you know that like once you go into the rabbit hole of leftist groups, it literally never stops. So it's like, and this is why I think we had such a hard time even knowing where to get started with mapping the modern left when we started doing this project last year, because it's like, where do we even start? Like, I don't even know. It's like, it is a data management nightmare, the likes of which I cannot even explain. Okay. So what we're doing instead is we are going to be prioritizing a focus on which groups are active right now, which groups are out at events, handing out flyers, handing out zines, holding events in the real world, going to other events, and we're going to start with that core focus. It is going to be fuck off impossible. I don't care if I get $1 million grant from a sugar daddy or something to be able to do this through the Center of Left Wing Studies. I could hire 100 fucking people right now, and it would be fuck off impossible to map the full extent of the modern left, because it is that big, and that should terrify everyone. But if we can focus it down into, here are the groups that we know are active because we have recently collected propaganda from them in the real world. If a leftist group is out there handing out propaganda, and the No Kings protest was a great place to see this, and the Mayday protests are going to be an even better place to see this, if we can get groups handing out propaganda, then we know there are members of these groups, they're out in the real world, they're trying to recruit people. We can start to figure out how they're all working together. It makes what was just a giant clusterfuck of a problem, all of a sudden, it makes it a little bit more attainable. Okay? And so we had all these people on the ground at the No Kings protests, and it was really awesome. And again, I'm going to share some stuff with you in a second about that. I want to do the same thing with the Mayday protest, except instead of having people in over 31 different states, I really, really, really want to try to coordinate at least one volunteer on the ground in every single state. That would be awesome, because there will be Mayday events in every single state. Every state is going to have these. It will be all over the country. And so my goal for the next several weeks, and we're going to be highly focused on this, guys. I'm not ready to take signups for this yet, but just like I'm putting it in your ear. If you want to do it, just, keep up with my announcements and stuff like that, because I will be opening up a sign up form. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different training this time, I'm pretty sure. So there will be more coming out about this soon, but I want to have one volunteer for the Center for Left Wing Studies, which is my nonprofit. For people who don't know, because I don't actually talk about this as much as I probably should, if I'm being honest about it. I actually do have a nonprofit. Fun fact. Oh, hang on one second. Hang on one second. There's something on the screen you can't see. Something on the stream you can't see right now. That's better. That's better. That's better. I actually do have a nonprofit, and it is called the Center for Left-Wing Studies. You can find it at leftwingstudies.com. It's actually kind of funny because the socialists bought leftwingstudies.org to make a site mocking me, and it's not nearly as cool as my site, and the .com is always better anyway. Just saying, if I wanted the .org, I would have fucking bought the .org. I didn't want the .org, I want the .com. Anyway, I have a nonprofit called the Center for Left-Wing Studies. We're going to be doing a bunch of projects. We already have been working on these projects and collecting the data for these projects for like the last year. Just volunteers, intrepid volunteers like Reagan and other people who do this stuff with me, but mostly Reagan, if we're being honest about it. But other people have done stuff too, which I really do appreciate. And what we're trying to do is map out the modern leftist ecosystem. So pretty soon on the Center for Left-Wing Studies website, you are going to be able to see a map of all the groups that we found out were active at the No Kings protest due to the data that you all collected on the ground. And Reagan, don't worry, this is a copy of the document, okay? This is a copy of it. This is not, what I'm about to show is not your document. It's a copy of it, okay? Reagan's going to freak out if I mess with her fucking spreadsheet, okay? So I'm just telling Reagan, this is not Reagan, because I know that she's going to look at this and know I made a change. It's not yours, Reagan. This is my copy, okay? Your spreadsheet still exists. Anyway, I want everyone to give a massive W to Reagan. I called this out on movie night last night, but not everyone was at movie night, and there's more people here. And I really want Reagan to get the credit that she deserves for this. Reagan, without me even asking her to, said, Karlyn, I would like to go through the materials that people are posting in the Center for Left-Wing Studies Discord from the No Kings protest and organize that into a spreadsheet. And I was like, at first I was like, my control freak in me, like I tensed up and I was like, I don't know if I can allow anyone else to do this, Reagan. Should have logged out W, thank you. But then I thought about it and I thought, Karlyn, you need to give up control. You trust Reagan. If there's anyone literally to trust in the community with this responsibility, it is literally Reagan. And so I said, yes, Reagan. Yes, you can. I will delegate this task to you as the chief organizational officer for the cult, the co-executive director almost of the Center for Left. I don't know. We're going to get Reagan a cool title for the Center for Left-Wing Studies. Reagan is basically the number 2 in this community. I had to yell at people multiple times on Socialism Saturday, but just so you know, you do not disrespect Reagan in my community. Like Reagan is basically the second in command. If I ever die, it is Reagan's responsibility to carry on my legacy. Whether she wants that responsibility or not, it doesn't matter. It is her responsibility. And Reagan actually went through and made a giant fuck off spreadsheet. Let me see if I can move this over here. Yeah, I want to make that smaller. There we go. Reagan went and made a giant fuck off spreadsheet of all the different groups that we got evidence for and propaganda from across all the different cities that we were in on No Kings. I do not know how many hours this took Reagan to do, but I've done stuff like this before, and this isn't even all the data in this spreadsheet. She's got way more data if you just scroll down. She cataloged fucking every single thing that people sent in. This is a massive, massive amount of work that was so helpful. I cannot even begin to say, because I did not expect to bring in as much data from the No Kings protest as we actually brought in, because I didn't know how many people were actually going to go and do it. We're still collecting data. People are still sending data in. By the way, if you were one of the volunteers that went to the No Kings protest and you haven't posted your stuff in the Discord yet, or if you have additional things to add that you just hadn't gotten around to sharing yet, please go and post your stuff so we can add it to the spreadsheet. But like, this is a giant fuck off piece of just, I mean, data management that Reagan took on without being asked. And so I just want people to know I really, really appreciate it. It was a very heavy lift. I've done stuff like this before. I know what a pain in the ass it is. Reagan is very, very, very good at this stuff. She always has been. And this is why Reagan is the chief organizational officer of the cult. This is why she has a title. This is why she has status, because she took initiative to go and do something. Okay. Now, I took this data and I had to make it simpler in order to be able to do the project I want to do with it. Not that Reagan did anything wrong. And I want to be clear about this. This is like a perfect fucking spreadsheet. This is a great fucking spreadsheet. There is nothing wrong with this. I am not giving any critical feedback at all about this. I just needed this data organized in a different way. And so what I did is I took Reagan's work and I basically just took the group name and the city, and then I started just running all the groups through AI, because we, of course, have, hang on. Hopefully my website is working today. It wasn't last night. Because, of course, if you're new here, on decodetheleft.com. Oh, it's not secure. Okay, so I need to get my anyway. Decodetheleft.com/map. You might get a security error. Don't worry about it. It's my web hosting company being a dick, and they were supposed to update something last night and they didn't. Anyway, the website is fine. It's perfectly secure. They just need to update something on the fucking website if you're getting an error. That's what's going on. It should be updated within the next 3 hours. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, decodetheleft.com/map. We have a framework in how we characterize different types of leftist groups. Essentially, the left is not one big monolith. There are many, many, many different types of groups on the left, and they span in belief system, they span in ideology. They are not all friends. They are not all working together. The Democrats are not the useful idiots of the communists. The communists are not the useful idiots of the Democrats. Mostly these groups kind of work in their own kind of ways. And then occasionally you might see a little bit of crossover. And more often, you're going to see infighting. There are 5 different groups that exist on the left. First, you have Democrats. These are corporate Democrats upholding capitalism. You have liberals who just want everything to be fair and want everyone to be taken care of and stuff like that. You have progressives that want the government to provide a lot of free shit, but they don't actually want to overthrow capitalism. So our first 3 tiers of leftists, Democrat, liberal, progressive, they all support the capitalist system. They are not on the far left. They are not communists. They are not socialists. They have their different set of values, ideologies, beliefs. They work within different groups. The No Kings protest was a progressive protest. It was not a socialist protest. It was not an Antifa protest. It was not a far left protest. It was a progressive protest. When you get into tier 4 and 5, that is when you get into the far left. You have tier 4, the Democratic Socialists. That doesn't just mean the DSA. There are other groups that are Democratic Socialists who believe you can achieve a post-capitalist world through elections and what is called reformism. Then you get into tier 5, which is revolutionary communists and socialists. These people do not believe in elections. They do not believe in voting. No, they do not vote for Democrats. That's fucking retarded. They don't vote for anyone. They believe in the violent overthrow of the government. Antifa exists in tier 5. However, not everyone in tier 5 is in Antifa, but Antifa is a segment of tier 5. Those are the far left groups. Those are the ones that we are most worried about. That's not to say we like Democrats, liberals, and progressives, because we don't. But those are like normie fucking lefties. Those are people that, yes, they're annoying, But like, are they trying to overthrow the system? Are they the ones doing mass rioting and destruction and all that stuff? No, they're not. Okay? They're just not. And people can whine and complain about that. Conservatives always get in their feelings when I tell them this, but that is just reality. Now, with the No Kings protest, you're going to see a lot more Democrat, liberals, and progressives. But again, there's still going to be DSA types and revolutionary socialists that go because they are constantly trying to recruit and radicalize more people to the far left. So basically, what I did is I took this framework and I put it into AI and I said, AI, can you go through all of the different groups that were at the No Kings protest by city? And can you tell me which tier they fall into? I didn't say we weren't worried about tier 4. We were worried about tier 4 and 5. Progressives are tier 3. And lo and behold, the AI did that. Now, it wasn't perfect. Anytime we use AI can be extremely helpful. AI still gets a lot of stuff wrong, okay? So, like, literally anytime we use AI, we have to go through and human check everything. Is this correct? Is this correct? Is this correct? AI got probably 90% of these things correct. It did not get 100% of the things. I had to manually change some of them based on what I know in the real world and all that good stuff, okay? So now we have a list of groups. I'll tell you exactly how many groups are in that spreadsheet. 387 groups spanning the entire left spectrum that were explicitly at the No Kings protest handing out propaganda. We collected propaganda from 87. I'm wrong. 387 different groups at the No Kings protest. And by the way, I'm going to remind people of this. This isn't even all the data yet, because there's data I know that people have not sent in yet. There are people who went to these events that just haven't gotten around to giving us the information yet. I hope they do soon. Be nice to break 400. I think we probably will. This is not all the groups that were at all of the different events. I also know that some people turned in incomplete lists of the groups that were at their events. Like if you were at a really big event and you only told me that 3 different groups was there, I call bullshit, okay? Like, please let us know what other groups were there, honestly. So this isn't a full list, but this is a really good fucking start. This is a really, really successful start. Now, I then took that and I said, hey, AI, can you give me a really quick breakdown about what is the composition of this data set by tier? So tier 1, Democrats. 4% of the groups that were at the No Kings protest were Democrats. Tier 2, liberals. 8% of the groups were liberals. Tier 3, 61% of the groups were progressives. These are the ones we're not worried about, though we are worried about tier 4 and tier 5. Tier 4, 9%. Tier 5, 18%. Tier 3. The far left is not like AOC, guys. If you think the far left likes AOC, you've been listening to too much conservative retard content, not enough far left content. The far left hates AOC. They consider her a traitor. So 18% of the groups that we identified at the No Kings protest were far left revolutionary groups. Isn't that interesting? It is the second largest group. Now, again, I need to emphasize this may not be representative of every single No Kings protest as a whole. We have to be intellectually honest about this, guys. We have to be very, very nuanced about this. We have to be intellectually honest about this, okay? We may not have a data set that is representative of the full event. We are still bringing data in. We probably have a propensity in this group to pay more attention to far left groups than we do other groups. So this is just based on the incomplete data set that we have, but there's no one else out there. And I want to again emphasize this. There is no one else out there who has this type of data set. We are the only people in the world with this data set. And so, even though this might be imperfect, even though this may not be fully representative, it's still the best that we have to work with right now. So, this is what we have to work with, okay? Tiers 4 and 5, go to decodetheleft.com/map. Tiers 4 and 5, Democratic Socialist, Revolutionary Socialist. And I think it says a lot, to be honest, that this data is showing 18% of the groups that were handing out propaganda at the No Kings protest were actually far left groups. So what I want to do with the Mayday event that's going to be coming up in a couple weeks, I want to do this again at the Mayday event. I want to get a group of volunteers together. My goal is one volunteer in every single state, at least. Obviously, some states we're probably going to have more, like California, New York, and Boston, or well, Massachusetts, I guess. And like other places too. Washington, D.C., hopefully we have more. Minneapolis, hopefully we have more. Anyway, there can be more than one in every state, but I want at least one volunteer in every single state. If you want to participate in this, I do not have a way for you to sign up right this second because we are still in the process of weeding through all this. And I want to get this in a better place until I open up calls for volunteers for the next one. However, if you want to do it, just keep coming back to the channel. Keep an eye on my Substack. I will be posting announcements. Keep an eye on my Twitter, Telegram, wherever you want to hear from me. And you will find when I'm ready to take volunteers, we'll do a training just like we did with the No Kings protest. And again, we will send people on the ground into hopefully every single state in this country to gather information and intelligence about what is going on. This is, and yes, actually, yeah, this is a really good plan. If you want to do this, make sure you can get May 1st off of work, okay? Go and task your boss now. Take May 1st off of work. They'll probably think you're a communist, but like whatever. And make sure you can actually go. So that is step number 1. I need everyone to clear their calendar for May 1st, 2026. Make sure you have nothing else to do that day. If you want to be involved in this, if you're taking care of kids, go get them a fucking babysitter, okay? Time to drop the kids off at grandma. You can go and do this instead. It will be the same Center for Left-Wing Studies Discord. It will be a different area in the Discord. So you should, there should be no reason. Again, I'm going to emphasize this. You need to assume that every single thing you post in that Discord is public because we do not know if any leftist groups are trying to infiltrate that Discord. They very well could be. There is nothing that I am afraid of them seeing in the Discord. I don't really care. All of this is going to be public information anyway. But I want to remind people, do not post anything in the Discord about where you are going to be or what you are going to do on May 1st until after the event. So it will be in the Center for Left-Wing Studies Discord. It will be in a different area. You shouldn't even be worrying about where to post right now because there's literally no reason to post about it, okay? And if you post something and it gets seen by a leftist and you didn't want it to get seen by a leftist, you have been warned that they very well could be in there. Again, there's nothing secret in there, so I don't really care, but I can't control what you post on the internet, and I don't want anyone to have any expectation of privacy in that specific Discord, okay? Well, it's not even that. That's not actually what I said at all, actually. Oh my God. It's going to be one of those weeks where people can't actually fucking just listen to what I'm saying. So, yeah, the instructions to the Discord will come later when I start to collect volunteers. Yeah, exactly. So that is the update, guys, for the No Kings project that we have been working on. And I want to thank everyone again who volunteered for this. I want to thank everyone that sent in data so far. I want to thank everyone that hasn't sent in their data yet, but you are going to because you want us to have this data and include it with everything else. I have a feeling that when I publish the data, all of a sudden I'm going to be hearing from a lot of people saying, oh, Karlyn, I forgot to give you this. I forgot to give you this. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Guys, if you want to support this work, one of the very best ways you can do it is by heading over to my Substack. That is Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. If you want to do the May 1st, infiltration, what I want to make sure you have done, if you want to go undercover at Mayday, if you want to go talk to leftist groups at Mayday, because again, we are going to be dealing with far more lefty groups at Mayday than we did with No Kings. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you have, oh, wait, hang on. We have a retard in the chat. We have a retard in the chat. Do this great country a big favor and just move to your favorite communist country. Can everyone please shame the retard in the chat, please? Can everyone please shame the conservative retard in the chat? I literally just did a half-hour talk about how we had a group of volunteers going undercover at the No Kings protest to collect intelligence on far-left groups all over the country to organize that data, to build out intelligence, to actually fight the left and understand what they're doing. And according to conservative retards, this means you are a communist. Very sorry, retard. Very sorry. Permanent ban from the channel. Not smart enough to be here. Go away. Guys, if you don't want to be retarded like that person, what I need you to do, and if you want to volunteer for the May 1st adventure, which I think, okay. I think this one is going to be so much more fun than the No Kings protest. Listen, I know that the No Kings protest, for a lot of people that went, I know this was like your first time at a lefty protest, but for people who don't know, when you get into far left environments, it's very, very different than progressive environments. And we utilize the No Kings protest as sort of a practice round to get people to practice going undercover with the left so that you could feel comfortable in a very, very safe environment. The Mayday protests are going to be very different than what you experienced with the No Kings protest. It's not going to be total far left. There's going to be democratic socialists and like people who are running for office as socialists or Working Families Party or stuff like that. There's going to be the DSA types there. There's also going to be Antifa and revolutionary communists there. And there's going to be a lot more of the far left at the Mayday protests than there was at the No Kings protest. And so if you guys went to the No Kings protest and you're like, Karlyn, this is pretty tame, progressive stuff, like, yeah, whatever, it's important, but whatever. It's going to be much more fun to go to the No Kings protest. If you want a solid taste of what it's like to be in a lefty environment, it's going to be so much better at the Mayday protests. So what I need to make sure is that everyone who wants to go undercover at the Mayday protests, that you are prepared to do so. If you have not watched my re-education class on how to speak leftist, I need you to do this at some point in the next couple of weeks. Listen, if you're not going undercover at something, if you're not volunteering to go undercover at something, you don't have to do this. You should do it. But I need to set the standard for people who are volunteering for my nonprofit because, again, the Center for Left Wing Studies is my nonprofit. Okay? I want everyone to be able to be involved that wants to be involved. However, for you to be an effective volunteer for my nonprofit, I need you to have a certain level of knowledge and I need you to understand my approach to things because it is, at the end of the day, my nonprofit. And if you don't buy into my approach to things, it's just not a good match. And that's the way it is. So I need everyone who wants to do the Mayday thing, you have to watch this class. I don't care if you've been watching my content for months, you have to watch this class. This is a minimal requirement. It is 90 minutes of your time. It's not hard. All I need you to do is sit back and listen. This is your crash course in how you speak the language of the left. It is going to be more important for you to speak the language of the left at the Mayday protests than it will have been at the No Kings protests because most of the people that you were interacting with at the No Kings protests were not far leftists. They were progressives, okay? At the Mayday protests, it is going to be extremely advantageous for you to understand their language. Even if you think you already understand their language and you have not taken this class yet, you still need to take the fucking class, okay? Minimum requirement. Please find time to do this. If you have a little bit more time, you can do the full 4-hour How to Speak Socialist Masterclass. The better you can get at communicating with the left, the more intelligence you're going to be able to gather when you go undercover at these events. All of this is free. You can find it over on my Substack. Again, that is Karlyn, Karlyn .substack.com. Just click the big new to my work start here thing with a picture of me when I used to wear makeup. And there it is. Just start there. Watch the fucking class. That's it. That's all I need you to do. Okay? So today, to help us prepare for this, I found a panel on something called the Green and Red Podcast. This was streamed a month ago, so it is very, 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 very new. And this is a film and panel discussion, Mayday in the time of Trump. Now, obviously, they're probably not going to show us the full film in this stream, but they are going to have a discussion. And I think that's going to be good enough. The Mayday workers' celebration, with its origin in the U.S. workers' struggle for an 8-hour day, has been historically a time to fight the bosses in solidarity. The fight has unfolded in different ways under different conditions. Workers of the East Bay, Mayday 2026. The East Bay? No shit. Mayday 2026, and aim to build national action by Mayday 2028. So they're also mentioning Mayday 2028 in there. Now is a great time to learn about the history of Mayday and deliberate together to what to do to make it in the midst of the current struggles. Renowned labor historian Fred Glass will present his film, bloody, 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 blah, co-sponsored by the Alameda Labor Council, the Federal Unionist Network, the SEIU, the ACC. All of these are unions, guys. Every single co-sponsor of this is a union because the unions are the backbone of leftist organizing. Without the unions, the left would not be nearly as effective in their organizing. The unions are always involved in the organizing. I'm going to be real blunt. If you are outside the US and you want to go to these events, you are welcome to utilize the resources I'm creating. I am not currently collecting data from events that are outside the US. I am not going to, I can't. This is a matter of I cannot be responsible for every single country in the world. If there are people outside of the US who want to go to events in their locations, who want to collect the information, who want to try to make it useful, then I wish you the very best of luck and you're welcome to utilize the resources that I put together in order to do that. I am not going to take that data and include it with the Center for Left-Wing Studies because the Center for Left-Wing Studies is American leftism. And that's, you can say, well, hang on, there you go. American leftism. It is leftism in America. There are many different nuances with leftism in other parts of the world. And I know I have people who watch me all over the world. Mizakan's in fucking Canada. Mizakan is one of the most valuable people in this entire community. Mizakan's in Canada. So I'm not trying to throw shade at other people in other parts of the world, but we have a big enough problem here and I just can't. I can't. A line or a border has to be drawn somewhere, and I have drawn that border around the United States, and that is the data we're collecting right now, and that is the data that we're analyzing right now. That's just the way it is. So again, I do appreciate when people in other countries want to do this. I wish I had a better answer for you. I guess I would say go to the event, collect the information, see if there's something you can do with it, see if there's something you can learn, but I'm not collecting that for our data set right this second. All right. With that out of the way. Hey, can I get some channel memberships for like coordinating a mass volunteer effort? Can I just, before we get started, hang on. I noticed that we like, I know I was doing a whole big data presentation just then. Can I get like, do you guys appreciate that I'm coordinating literally a nationwide volunteer effort to collect a data set that literally no one else on the fucking internet has? I mean, do you guys even appreciate this? Do you appreciate the time and effort that it has gone into coordinating this and collecting the data and putting the data together and analyzing the data? I'm just saying that this has to get, my time has to get, I don't take a salary from the Center for Left-Wing Studies. There's no salary. Anyone who donates to the Center of Left-Wing Studies, the money is basically getting saved in a bank account. It's going to be used for Occupy libraries later this year. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. W's in the chat. Maybe people just don't appreciate this. Maybe people just don't appreciate it. We can sit here, guys. Maybe we just won't watch this today. I don't know. Maybe we just don't watch it today. Thank you, Brooks. I appreciate you. W's. Guys, if you can't afford to financially give, I don't want anyone to feel bad. I'm only asking the people who can, of which I believe there are more than enough people in the chat who can donate a $5 channel membership. Are you guys going to make me threaten? You going to make me threaten? We can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. Thank you for the super chat on Pinky. I appreciate that. Okay, well, guys, here's the thing. I actually have a fuck ton of work to do with this data analysis. I have a big project in terms of making this useful for the Center for Left-Wing Studies website. Thank you, Drew, for the 5 channel memberships. W's to Drew. Appreciate that, bro. Brings us up to 19. Oh, we're making some progress now. They making some progress. Hang on. Maybe I don't have to threaten you guys after all. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Hey, W60, appreciate you, bro. I can end the stream and just go do data analysis is what I'm saying. I could literally spend the entire rest of my night doing data analysis and building out a map of the data that we already have. Hey, SS Kennedy, Queen of Left-Wing Studies, thank you. I appreciate it. Guys, can we get up to 30 channel memberships? Can that dream come true? Maybe you guys just don't appreciate this. I mean, listen, man, maybe people don't think this is as cool as I do. Maybe people just don't think this is as cool as I do. W channel logo, thank you. Maybe people don't appreciate the amount of work going into this that I don't take a salary for. Maybe people don't appreciate the knowledge I bring to this that literally no one else on the internet has. Maybe that actually is the case. Maybe that actually is the case. We've already lost like 40 viewers who are freeloaders who are just going to complain. Yo, Sith, thank you for the gifted chat. Yo, Sith and SS Kennedy. W's to Sith and SS Kennedy on Rumble. Sith gave a gifted channel membership. SS Kennedy gave 5. The amount of pulling teeth we're having to do today, man. This is painful. W's Virgo Moon. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. 2 more. Two more. I think we have 2 more people that can donate a channel membership. It's $5, guys. You make someone else's day. You get someone else a channel membership. They get access to Spy Stream. You expand the community. Yeah, this is a really good point. You guys can't always expect Cynthia and Hans and Old Sub to bail everyone out every single day. Okay. Well, if we can't hit 30 channel memberships within the next minute or so, I'm going to end the stream and go do work. Because what you guys are telling me is you don't actually value my time. You don't value my time. You don't value my expertise. You don't value that I'm about to give you a class in what the left is planning for Mayday using directly their primary source evidence that other people don't have. All right, we got Odin here. Won't let me send memberships. Can you please use this? Okay. I would prefer they be actual channel memberships, but obviously we're going to have to beg on this stream. So that's the way that's going to go. Okay. All right. All right. Odin bailed everyone out this time. All right, guys. We're going to start this here video. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to give you guys a master class in what the left is doing. I'm going to show you content no one else on the internet is going to show you. We're going to stop periodically throughout this video, and we're going to make sure we're at specific channel membership goals. And if you guys don't appreciate it, we don't have to do it. Honestly, I have a fuck ton of work I need to do, and that's going to be the way it goes. W on Mask Red Death. Appreciate that, bro. You rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hate to be this blunt about it, guys, but I did this shit for free, like literally for years, drained my fucking savings to do this shit for free. That's not going to happen anymore. We have drawn a line in the sand. I literally begged for scraps for years and years and years, almost had to quit because I've got completely draining my savings to do stuff like this for free because people weren't willing to fund it. I am never doing that again. That fucking sucked. That almost fucking killed me. And so now that we've got things in a place where there is a good level of financial support, where I don't have to worry about if I'm going to be able to pay my fucking mortgage, we're going to keep it there. And if we don't keep it there, I'm simply going to go do other stuff where I can actually make money. So that is going to be the new, that is the rule. This is just the reality of the thing. I am independently funded. If you value my time, if you value my energy, if you value that I'm doing all this shit without taking a salary from my own nonprofit, then it is what it is. This is how we're funding. All right. So we're getting into the video now. I appreciate everyone allowing that little intermission. Well, we cannot do it. I can just do this shit on my own. I don't have to provide a free class for everyone. Do you want to know why I don't have to provide a free class to everyone? I've literally already fucking done it. If you want a free class, go to the Substack, take the class. But expecting that I'm going to provide a free class every single day for everyone to the point where I drive myself insane, That's not realistic. Anyway, let's dig in, guys. We're talking about Mayday in the time of Trump. Oh God, Unmasked Red Death coming back with another 5 W's, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. See, all I have to do is lecture you guys every once in a while. That's it. Catholic guilt the fuck out of you. I wish I didn't have to do it. I don't make the rules. Okay, let's get started. Play. Why can't I hear this? The fuck?
Co-sponsored by the Alameda
No,
Labor Council.
no! What the fuck is going on with this? This has sound. I know it has sound. The fuck? Turn off. What in the fuck is going on with this? Hang on. This has sound. I know this has sound. One sec, guys. I apologize. I don't know what technical difficulty I'm having over here. What in the fuck? Hang on. What in the fuck? That is so weird. That is so fucking weird. It doesn't have sound at the beginning. I know it has sound in it. Watch this.
After the regime or when the
So we do get to a point where there is sound in
I
it.
think go to regardless one thing yesterday.
Okay, so for about the first 18 minutes of this video, there's no sound. We're just gonna roll with it. We're just gonna roll with it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This wasn't like this the last time I checked this video, but whatever. We are just gonna roll with it, guys. We're gonna start a minute 18 and we're gonna listen to them from there. We should be able to surmise what's going on. If you have questions about what's going on because you're new, you're not used to listening to this stuff, please do let me know in the chat.
Definitely not someone who does not hold a grudge. I am trying really hard to undo that, but it's like those are sometimes the biggest obstacles we have, and it is crazy that at this moment in time, it is almost an opportunity to like, okay, we're gonna have to put that
Thanks,
shit
Mike.
aside.
Appreciate it.
I did that in church yesterday, so I mean, I was talking about Peter Thiel, so I thought this is okay, right? It's like we're talking about the Antichrist. I could throw the F-bomb here. So I think that has created an opportunity for like groups who don't typically work together to start working together. I do think that what we're leaving behind, and I do want to name this because I think it is very important, is that, you know, like sometimes, and this is what I've seen, and this is not just in the East Bay, it's all over California.
W Fishing, thank
labor
you.
does not
Appreciate
share
it, bro.
power oftentimes, right? And I don't think it's intrinsic of labor to do that. This is like, I think someone said it, it's really about labor leaders. Like, are you actually representing the interests of your people? Because when I see the rank and file rise up, right? When you see this with teachers pushing that, that's when shit happens. That's when strikes are happening. That's when things are energized. It is
when you see teachers pushing that, when you see this with teachers pushing that, that's when strikes happen. Guys, we had a couple spy streams last week where we listened. I need to make the clips of these. We listened to teachers talking about organizing their students for the Mayday protests. They've been saying this overtly in like every single one of these trainings. The teachers are driving the activism with the students. The teachers are driving the activism with the students. The teachers are driving the activism with the students. I don't care how much the Trump administration lies and said they got DEI out of the schools. The teachers are in the leftist organizing meetings talking about driving activism with the students.
That's when shit happens. That's when strikes are happening. That's when things are energized. It is not just like we're not going through the motions of a contract. And I think one big thing that I'm starting to see, and I think we just all have to say it, is that Mayday can't be about a contract. It cannot be about one moment in time. It has to be about values. And the question, I think, for everyone is like, are we starting to align on values that like one job should be enough? Housing should be a human right. Like everyone, regardless of whatever you think my citizenship is, it's like we have a right to exist free of terror, right? And everything after that is really the issues that we're fighting on. And so I think what I'm, part of like Bay Resistance and like the work that we're doing statewide, we just had multiple calls around just like
these are the Fabergé ones, the shiny blue ones.
Palantir, People Over Billionaires, all the targeting with Target and Home Depot, the coordination, so painful. I feel like I miss organizing on the ground when I'm in coalition spaces. I've never been a hostage before, but sometimes I feel like I'm in a hostage situation because it's like, who am I having this conversation with, right? I was trying to be funny, so please, I need you to laugh, validate me here as I talk about this. But I think the opportunities are like the things that we're putting out there, the alliances that we're forging, also being graceful about like, we're not gonna be perfect this year. And I think I've heard it so many times where it's like we're talking to the purists, right? Everyone has to be like the communist.
Well, there's a reason for that. Because I got them from the same guy who does Lady Gaga's sunglasses. So this is a company I get them from called Vintage Frames Company, and they do the sunglasses for all of like the big celebrities, and they've got this massive sunglass archive and stuff like that. So there's a reason these remind you of Lady Gaga, because the guy who sold me these literally sells her sunglasses.
Communists, right? And I'm sure everyone's met that friend, like you sneak beef jerky into their vegan potluck. It's, we can't be those people. We have to actually like, unfortunately, be nice to Alex Padilla sometimes if he's gonna make this vote and fuck him up later. But like, we have to be strategic about what those things are, right? And know that like the biggest thing we have to do is like talk to as many people, because that's where our power is. We are building power. It is not about any single strategy or any tactic. It is about alignment. It's about values. It's about people power. And even if we win something, we need the power and the infrastructure to sustain it after Mayday or after the regime or when the apocalypse happens. Just to let you know, if there's a zombie one, I want to be a zombie. I am not foraging for a minute. But that's all I have. I'm just here for combat relief. We are doing different things. ACE is, we're, like I said, in 5 different locations. We're also piloting something called a mass organizing project, where we're organizing people online so that they can actually we're developing them to be like volunteer organizers in their region. LA definitely is our biggest office, followed by San Diego, here in the Bay Area. Contra Costa and Oakland are so close that we do a lot of work together, and our Sacramento office. So traditionally, we've done a lot of work on housing because that's something our members wanted to work on, and housing is a beast. You have to keep going. It's not like 1 year you won. It's, right, this year we lost. And some of the same elected officials that someone pointed out are like they're social democrats. I mean, they're great on social issues, but they suck when it comes to like working issues like housing, right?
So what they're talking about right now is some of these elected Democrats, like AOC, like Ayanna Pressley, like all the squad, like Bernie Sanders, they might be good social democrats, but they suck on the issues that we actually care about. People who think that the far left supports AOC and Bernie Sanders has never listened to the far left, because the far left says AOC and Bernie Sanders are traitors to their cause because they assimilated to capitalism and now support the capitalist interest. Okay?
This year we lost. And some of the same elected officials, like someone pointed out, are like they're social democrats. I mean, they're great on social issues, but they suck when it comes to like working issues like housing, right? Like rent control, God forbid, it's a communist plot.
Communist plot.
And we work a lot on immigration, especially in LA. We are partnering with the teachers union in San Diego. We've done it in LA, one of the biggest teacher strikes. We hope,
Oh, the leftists were partnering with the teachers unions in San Diego and Los Angeles? You don't say. Imagine my shock that the teachers unions were involved in leftist organizing.
have a really good relationship with OEA out here in Oakland. Valerie Batcho is also on our school board, so that's also great to have someone that progressive there. So I think it's just really coming together and fucking people up. So
coming together to fuck people up.
Way down over to my left, my far left again, okay? 50, the far right, though. So watch out. What do you think about the questions? What do you think?
Okay, so I want to start with a strength that's probably pretty easy to overlook. The federal workers and the federal unions that are here in the East Bay. When Trump took office last year, our federal unions were sleepy and were unprepared, to say the least. Trump promptly fired probationary employees across the federal government en masse. He canceled collective bargaining rights for 85% of all federal employees. And attempted to dismantle agencies that provide crucial public services, like making sure your bank doesn't scam you. Shout out to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Yes. Or making sure your baby formula is safe. Shout out to the
I want everyone to make sure we understand what we're talking about. This person probably has a government job, and this person is about to whine and complain about the Trump government that is paying them through our tax dollar. And this person is about to tell us, here are all the ways that government employees are organizing against the government to protest the government. Everyone understand?
Trump promptly fired probationary employees across the federal government en masse. He canceled collective bargaining rights for 85% of all federal employees.
Oh no!
And attempted to dismantle agencies that provide crucial.
Did I never give Trump credit for canceling the collective bargaining rights of 85% of government employees? Did I never give Trump credit for? Listen, man, listen. We give credit where credit is due. Trump fucking sucks. He's a cuck to Israel. He's taken Benjamin Netanyahu's dick in his ass probably more times than he would care to admit in polite company. He has gotten America into an unfucking winnable war in Iran. He has completely fucked up our country and any chance the Republicans have of winning the midterms. But let's give credit to Trump where credit is due. If Trump actually canceled the collective bargaining rights of 85% of government employees, that's a W. That's a W, Trump. That's a W. Should have been 100% of federal employees. There should be no federal employees fucking union. But you know what? If we can only get 85%, that's still pretty fucking good. So, okay, W, Trump, thank you.
To say the least. Trump promptly fired probationary employees across the federal government en masse. He canceled collective bargaining rights for 85% of all federal employees. And attempted to dismantle agencies that provide crucial public services. Like
one W among
sure
men.
your bank doesn't scam you. Shout out to the consumer.
You know what? I never want to be one of those people that doesn't acknowledge when people do something correctly. Listen, Trump can suck every dick so far as I'm concerned. I'm not voting for fucking Republicans ever again, ever. Trump can basically kiss my copious fucking ass, but I literally never want to be one of those people who just points out the flaws in everything or twists things to have someone always be bad. Sometimes people do good things, and when they do good things and when they do when they do things that are correct. We should applaud them and reward them with praise. And hopefully, if we say, thank you, Trump, for doing that thing, he does more of those things.
Social Protection Bureau, yes. Or making sure your baby formula is safe. Shout out to the Food and Drug Administration. Or even
To be
training
pleasantly
70%
surprised.
of all
Yeah,
U.S. doctors.
exactly.
Shout out to the Veterans Affairs, the VA. So, despite ongoing retaliation
Rare
and threats
Trump
from
W.
Elon Musk's Doge, federal unionists are on the front lines of the fight against billionaires who want to strip public safety nets for their own profits.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm involved. I'm an organizer with the Federal Unionist Network, or the FUN, as we call ourselves.
Oh, the Federal Unionist Network. Only answer this question if you went to a No Kings protest, okay? If you did not go to a No Kings protest, do not answer this question. Only the people who went to the No Kings protest. If you went to the No Kings protest, one in the chat, if you saw the Federal Unionist Network at the No Kings protest that you went to, like you physically saw them or you got handed a flyer or something like that, 2 in the chat if you went to a No Kings protest and you did not see the Federal Unionist Network there. And it doesn't count if you didn't really look around. Like, if you weren't part of my volunteer squad, I'm not really interested in hearing from you. Like, this is only for people who volunteered. 1 in the chat if you volunteered and you saw the Federal Unionist Network at the No Kings protest. 2 in the chat if you volunteered and you did not see it. That would be a 1 for me in Boston. The Federal Unionist Network was definitely there. We got a 1 from Average Person. We got a 1 from Chitalago. We got a bunch of 2s. I mean, they weren't everywhere. We got another 1 here from Geo. Yeah, they weren't everywhere. There was no group, guys. There was no single group that was in every single location. There were different groups in different locations. So if they weren't there, that doesn't mean like they weren't other places. I was just curious. So that means like 4 of us, at least 4 of us of the people here right now, we saw the Federal Unionist Network at the No Kings protest actively protesting the federal government that pays their taxpayer-funded salary.
Doctors. Shout out to the Veterans Affairs, the VA. So, despite ongoing retaliation and threats from Elon Musk's Doge, federal unionists are on the front lines of the fight against billionaires who want to strip public safety nets for their own profits. So I'm involved. I'm an organizer with the Federal Unionist Network, or the FUN, as we call ourselves.
The FUN.
And we're leading this work with a rank and file strategy, an organizing model that's focused on building solidarity across unions and across agencies that are serving the public. So I'm going to give you an example. Just a couple weeks ago, a member of the Federal Unionist Network and a VA worker in the East Bay organized a vigil for our union brother, Alex Preddy, in Oakland, which both Mayor Barbara Lee and the Alameda Labor Council political director attended in solidarity. Doctors, nurses, and psychologists at the VA came out during their lunch break to mourn together, but also to demonstrate that state-sanctioned brutality should not have limitless funding. My colleague at the Federal Unionist Network and her union siblings have since then made pins that say, "Are you okay?" And they have a link to their union local's website because their management at the VA are not asking them if they're okay. Their union is. And so this is just one example of how federal workers are reclaiming our role as caretakers of the public trust and taking back our workplaces by rebuilding our unions from the bottom up. So looking towards Mayday 2028, first, we need to keep bringing people in. So my ask for you is if you know any federal workers, please tell them about the Federal Unionist Network and ask them to sign up for the fund. And secondly, we need to organize with federal workers and federal unions. So if you care about the climate and you want to protect air and water from corporate polluters, you should be organizing with federal unionists at the EPA. If you care about being able to retire one day, you should be organizing with federal unionists at the Social Security Administration. That's why the East Bay DSA's Federal Worker Solidarity Campaign is a great opportunity to plug in and support federal workers who are organizing their workplaces to hold the line.
You know, it occurs to me that it would be beneficial for us to make a list of like the most problematic unions that we need to keep a very close eye on, because there are so many fucking unions There are so many unions involved in leftist organizing. I had no idea there were so many unions. Here is who would be on my list. The Federal Unionist Network, because they are federal employees. The AAUP, the American Association of University Professionals, because that is the union that's organizing the university stuff. Cynthia W's, thank you. Yes, the teachers unions, the AFT, the American Federation of Teachers, the National Education Association, all of the different local ones. We need to make different local branches of teachers unions like the CTU or the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would also say the SEIU is a union that we need to keep an eye on because the SEIU is always at leftist protests. The UAW is an interesting union to keep an eye on because people might not understand this. The UAW has a specific branch, I guess, for graduate student workers. So, and I don't know why this is or why this exists, but the graduate student workers at colleges around the country, these are college grad students that may have like a part-time job with the university or something like that. They are organized into a union through the UAW. Reagan says the AFL-CIO. Yup, I think so. I think we also need to keep an eye on the airline unions related to the flight attendants. Probably there's other unions related to the airlines as well, but definitely the flight attendants because the left is going to try to shut down the airlines. Grocers unions, because grocers unions are in charge of like food. Starbucks unions, Starbucks Workers United, because that's just like a hotbed of leftist activism. They're always doing stuff. They're kind of at the tip of the spear. Who else? Amazon employees. Amazon employees is also a hotbed of leftist activism. So again, they're going to be at the tip of the spear. If you guys can think of any other unions that we should be paying attention to, let me know in the chat. I don't often see police unions at these things. Police and far leftists don't normally get along. Librarians don't really have a union, but they have like associations like the American Library Association or things like that. Teamsters are sometimes involved. They're not as involved as I've seen other unions. I'm not saying we don't pay attention to them. I'm saying I wouldn't put them at the absolute top of the list. I haven't seen a ton of truckers unions involved, honestly. I haven't seen a lot of those involved, though. We're not naming off any unions. We're naming off high priority unions. Yeah, communists think that police unions aren't real unions. That makes a ton of sense, actually. Okay. I think we got a pretty good list to start.
With communities when our democracy is under siege, and we need your help with this critical work. If you're not already part of the campaign, please sign up today by speaking with Danny. Danny?
Yo!
Thank you.
Yo! Real? Seriously? Let me see. Hang on, let me take off my glasses so you can. I don't want you guys necessarily to see my finance back end here. I don't know if you can, but we're gonna make sure you can't because you don't need to see donor information. Ah, fuck! Sending a fucking text to my fucking phone to help me log in. God damn it! I know it's two-factor authentication. It's for the best, but it's annoying. Damn, I don't see that showing up yet, but that's probably... Oh, no, I do! I do! Yo! Win! Yo! $1,000 for the Center for Left-Wing Studies! JR, there is not a better birthday present you could have given me, bro. Not a better birthday present that you could have given me. Thank you so. See, you're an Aries too? No Pisces. We don't like Pisces here. No offense, Pisces. I have issues with Pisces, okay? Thank you so much for your generosity. I know you tried to do that before the end of last year. I don't know what happened with the first check. I'm glad nothing bad happened to it, but I'm so glad we made it. I do see it showing up in the account. You fucking rock, JR. What a legend. I think that's that's actually the biggest single donation yet to the Center for Left Wing Studies. I get people giving me, some people are giving me $100 a month. Some people are making small donations here or there. I appreciate all of it. Just so you guys know, again, any donations to the Center for Left Wing Studies, and again, this is leftwingstudies.com. If you want to give, you can click the give button. It'll take you to the way to do it. This money is literally going and sitting in a bank account, and I'm going to use it for Occupy libraries later this year, or I might have some other operating expenses, but really, I'm saving up the donations right now because I want to be able to fund a speaking tour around the country in libraries in the back half of the year, where I go and present in libraries about what the far left is doing and stuff like that. And we're calling that Occupy Libraries, and it's going to be fucking awesome. But basically, I don't, no one is taking a salary. I want to be very clear about this, what your money's going for. This is a tax-deductible donation, so you can write it off on your taxes, which is rad. But I don't take any money from this. It's sitting in a bank account right now. It's kind of just, we're collecting it, and I will use it to fund Occupy libraries in the back half of the year. So that is my plan for the moment. I so appreciate you making that very generous donation. If anyone else wants to give, that is the way to do it. And so I really, really appreciate it. How awesome. How fucking cool is that? How fucking cool is that? Not that one. Damn, did I not star it? I gotta go back and star it. Yo, hang on. I gotta get a screenshot. See, I'm not even mad about the channel memberships now. Look at that. Not even fucking mad. Not even mad at all. Boom. Thank you, JR.
So we'll have a formal question, but I'm gonna see if I can push it more quickly so I can pose a third question that you didn't know about, okay? So if I can pull it off. Power of the mind and power of being old man up here, okay? But the planned question talks about how can we use
Really?
26.
This is awesome. I put together an Antifa presentation, quote some of your work, full attribution, of course, given to over 200 Republicans, more next month. That's awesome, bro. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out. I love it when people utilize my work to go present about Antifa and the left and stuff like that in their communities. That's part of the Occupy Libraries plan that I'm building out. More money on today's stream than Ethan Ralph's 24-hour crack course stream. Yeah. Did Ethan Ralph get a $1,000 donation to his nonprofit? Oh, Ethan Ralph doesn't have a nonprofit. That's too bad for him.
As a building block going forward. So think of one thing that your organization can do now, looking at Mayday 26, to build towards Mayday 28. It's not a lot of things, but one thing.
So he's saying, think about what you can do in May 2026 to build for May 28. One in the chat if you know what is coming in May 2028. Two in the chat if you have no idea what's coming in May of 2028. Let me know. Putting my sunglasses back on. There we go. One in the chat if you know what's coming in May 2028. Two in the chat if you're new and you have no idea. Okay. Lots of ones, but a couple twos. We need to make sure we're bringing everyone along. There are new people here. So we've talked about the importance of May 1st, 2026 in terms of Mayday being a leftist holiday, a mass day of mass action, all that stuff. The left is going to try to do a one-day protest on May 1st, 2026 that is a mass general strike to shut down the economy. However, May 2026 is what the left calls a structure test. A structure test is basically when the left does something to see how much support do we have. No. Only English here. No. English only. No. So a structure test is when the left does an action. They try, and it could be anything. It could be, how many people can we get to wear a pin to this event? How many people can we get to wear the same t-shirt? How many people can we get to come to this training that we're doing? How many people can we get to come out to this rally? May 1st, 2026 is a test to see how many people can the left get out to do a one-day mass general strike to shut down the economy for a single day. May 1st, 2026 is not the goal. It's just one in a long series of structure tests the left is doing. The real goal is May 1st, 2028. Because May 1st, 2028 is right now, they're planning for this years in advance. I want people to understand how big this leftist plan is. They are planning for this years in advance. Every single thing the left does for the next 2 years is going to be leading up to May 1st, 2028. On May 1st, 2028, the unions are organizing so that all of their contracts expire on the same date. And they are doing this because they want to shut down the economy for an extended period of time, not just one day, an extended period of time. So right now, what the left is doing is they're holding schools and trainings all over the country, teaching people how to strike. They're getting workers into workplaces that don't have unions, specifically to agitate and create those unions. That's called salting. We've been in leftist organizing calls where they're discussing this explicitly. They're having protest after rally, after organizing call, after protest, after rally, after organizing call, specifically to get people, as many people as possible, into the leftist activist ecosystem. Oh, hang on a second. And every single protest, every single rally, every single mass general strike that you see between now and Mayday 2028 is a structure test to test how many people do we have in our ecosystem? What do we need to do in order to create a prolonged mass general strike to shut down the entire economy on May 1st, 2028? So we're not just saying one day on May 1st, 2028. They want that mass general strike to go on for weeks or months. And what do I mean when I say shut down the economy? I mean, they want to shut down airlines. They want to shut down auto workers. They want to shut down Starbucks. They want to shut down Amazon, which does the majority of deliveries in the United States. They want to shut down grocery stores. Grocery stores. They want to shut down the schools. If they are able to shut down the schools by the teachers going on strike, that means the kids stay home. And that means parents have to stay home from their job to take care of the kids. So then you have another impact on top of that, okay? There may be other things as well, but basically when I say they want to shut down the economy for an extended period of time, what I mean is this is not a one-day strike that conservatives are going to find annoying. This is a plan for a prolonged fuck-up of the American economy that is happening in the open, that the left is planning for years, and conservatives are confused because they think that all of these single-day things are just about that day, and then they go, nothing even happened, and this is stupid, and this is just a one-day thing, and the left isn't even doing anything, and they don't have jobs, and blah, blah, blah. They do have jobs. They control the fucking unions, and they're going to use that to shut down the entire economy. And see, this is the conservative retard answer. Oh, you mean they're gonna shut down McDonald's? No, retard. No, retard. Let me say it again, and I'll say it slower this time, so perhaps you actually listen. They want to shut down the auto workers. They want to shut down the airlines. They want to shut down Amazon, which is the largest sender and also, by the way, one of the largest employers in the United States. They want to shut down the grocery stores. Did I say McDonald's, you stupid motherfucker? No, what I said was grocery stores. The grocery store unions are planning in this. And they want to shut down your kid's school for an extended period of time, which means you're going to have to take the day off of work to babysit your precious darlings for as long as the school's shut down, which means that's going to fuck up your job as well. It's just McDonald's and they're stupid. See, that's the conservative retard answer. Serious people understand that when I talk about all of the unions coordinating to have their contract expired on the same day, holding structure test after structure test after structure test, where they're literally getting millions of people to come out to these events, and they're preparing this years in advance. They're doing classes and school. They're calling strike schools. They're right now, like literally, the left is organizing strike schools or solidarity schools all over the country right now to teach people how to go on strike. They're setting up mutual aid networks all over the country to support people financially when they go on strike. This is going to be a massive fuck off problem that I don't think a lot of people are going to see coming because no one's talking about it. That is what we are talking about. Yeah, it's only going to create mass chaos. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, conservatives. I'm sure it's no big deal and nothing's really happening and they don't have jobs and all that bullshit. How they can go on strike to shut down the economy if they don't have jobs, I have no fucking idea, but here we are.
And so,
I think what we're seeing and what I've experienced anecdotally, but the data is also showing, is that...
Anyway, listen to what this guy's saying. I should play this again because this is where we started this. This guy, I want people to understand, I'm not just blowing smoke when I say they're planning for this now. Karlyn, are you sure they're planning for a mass general strike to shut down the economy? Okay, well, I want you to listen to the moderator of this panel talk about how this all leads up to May 1st, 2028.
well, quickly, so I can pose a third question that you didn't know about, okay? So if I can pull it up. Power of the mind and power of being no man up here, okay? But the plan question talks about how can we use Mayday 26 as a building block going forward. So think of one thing that your organization can do now, look at Mayday 26, to build towards Mayday 28.
What is one thing your organization can do now on Mayday 26 to build towards Mayday 2028? Karlyn, does the left know about this Mayday 2028 thing? Yes. Do you know how I know about it? I watch leftist organizing calls. Do you know what they're talking about in the leftist organizing calls? Mayday 2028 and using Mayday 2026 to build towards Mayday 2028. And by the way, we knew this before Trump even got reelected. This is not even new information. This is years old information. So if you don't know this, you need to really question the type of content you're consuming because we've known this for years, like literally years.
It's not a lot of things, but one thing. And so
I think what we're seeing and what I've experienced anecdotally, but the data is also showing, is that a lot of union members are still not fired up or pissed off. Because we have jobs, because we have all these union protections and benefits. And so first and foremost, I think we're gonna have to double down on education, have to double down on what it means, what a fascist, regime looks like, and remind folks that we're there. We're not heading there, we're there. And that the very thing that we're so confident in having, we could lose like tomorrow. I think education is going to be important, so people will feel the need to be enraged and feel the need to be on the streets and feel the need to see the value in our collective power at Mayday, see the value of being able to shut the country down so we can control the economics and we can take our money, we can be the arbiter of our own, lives, and we can take our democracy back. So that's one thing I think is important.
Thank you.
So I think one of the questions for Mayday 26 that we can address is like, can multiple unions and organizations really move together on the same program on the same day, right? Can we align all of our messaging, our demands, our targets? Can we make it clear that billionaires hoard, that workers produce, and that public goods are being stolen? We can use that as a test to see what work we need to build off, so that when Mayday 2028 comes, it's not just as a rally day or as a moment, but really as a culmination of multiple escalation points and organizing efforts, by not only just like rank and file, where that natural anger is arising from, but also from folks who are in elected leadership positions that may sometimes be hindrances to that actual movement. And so ensuring that we have that member-driven from the ground up leadership that is undeniable, that even if you're against it or you're conservative on it, you have no choice but to go with what the people are demanding that we're doing. So I think that's something that we can.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Grace.
I think one thing that, just as I'm working with Jane from Bay Resistance, trying to talk to as many groups as possible before March, is like, it is a real amazing moment if we are able to like take on the skills of, getting aligned by Mayday, like that are actually like an injury to one is an injury to all. That this isn't just a worker struggle, it is like the very essence of us as people, the things that we need struggle, right? We need like a government that works for us. We need like dignity for anyone who does any type of work. And then even just as I think about like how our partnership with the LA Teachers Union and our parents there, that they became hardcore teacher supporters because they saw like that partnership of like the struggle was together, bargaining for the common good, right? And so I think one thing I hope to see Mayday, I don't think we're gonna win all the things that we want, right? I'm gonna leave that door open though, okay? Don't wanna slam that door of possibility of giving someone a heart attack. I don't wanna close that door, but I think what's important is that like, can we get to a place where this is gonna be in the next like 2 years, that we're gonna be in a better place because we have like tested our ability to talk to other people, to talk to strangers, to unite and actually do.
Over the next 2 years, we're going to test our ability to do all these things because the big goal is not Mayday 2026, it is Mayday 2028.
I don't think we're gonna win all the things that we want, right?
And this is another point too that conservatives really need to understand. The left doesn't go into any of these single day events thinking that they're going to get all their demands met. And yes, they do know what they want. There's always a series of demands list. If you aren't being shown that, that's because your influencers fucking suck and are lying to you. There's always a demands list. Every single protest has a demands list. However, the left is doing these events, going into it knowing, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Because the demands list isn't actually the point. The point is to run a structure test to see how many people they have on their team to better organize for next time, to learn from the experience of organizing, to connect new people and new organizations into the system, to grow bigger and bigger and bigger every single time they do this, which they are being phenomenally successful at doing ever since Trump took office. The goal is not the single day. The single day is but a structure test in a long series of structure tests leading up to May 2028. Yes, this is an excellent example. It's like a fucking scrimmage. You're not even in regular season play yet. This is not the playoffs. This is not even a regular season game. This is a fucking scrimmage. It's a scrimmage. It's like a fake game that you're doing just to practice playing the game. And that, it doesn't actually really matter if you win or lose because you're doing it to learn how the team is working together and who's going to show up and who's going to choke and like all that stuff. It's a fucking scrimmage. That's a great example. Thank you, Tiffany. You are the only person discussing this. I know. And I really appreciate the super chat, Tiffany. Thank you so much.
I'm going to leave that door open, though, okay? Don't want to slam that door of possibility of giving someone a heart attack. I don't want to close that door. But I think what's important is that, can we get to a place where this is going to be, in the next, 2 years, that we're going to be in a better place because we have, tested our ability to talk to other people, to talk to strangers, to unite, and actually do joint actions that are about all of us.
So I'm going to share just a little bit of context. Federal workers, as some of you may know, do not have the same rights as workers in the private sector. For example, we do not have the right to strike. It's actually a felony for federal workers to even assert the right to strike.
Wait.
Our wages.
It's a felony for federal workers to strike? Then why the fuck isn't the Trump administration arresting every fucking member of the federal unionist network that goes to one of these events to fucking strike? This just became a whole new fucking thing. Okay. Allow me to explain. One of the things that we like to do on this channel is get leftists fired from their jobs. One in the chat, if you want to play a little game of let's get leftists arrested for striking when they are not legally allowed to strike. One in the chat if you want to play a game of let's try to get leftists arrested for striking when they're not allowed to. Two if you think that's a dumb game. I mean, we can get them fired from their jobs too. I would definitely fire them from their jobs if they're doing something fucking illegal. Oh yeah? Federal union members are not allowed to strike. It is a felony for federal employees to participate in a strike or work stoppage. Oh yeah? Thanks, Ninja Artist. W's for that. Appreciate it. Getting us up to 50, finally. All right. When we go undercover at the Mayday events, one of the things I want people to do is to specifically target the federal unionist network. And we're gonna start watching the federal unionist network extremely closely. And we're gonna start really paying attention to what these people are saying, because if these people participate in a mass general strike on May 1st, then they are committing a felony. And then we can play a game of how many federal workers can we get arrested for committing a felony and going on mass general strike on May 1. One in the chat, if you think this sounds like a good idea, two in the chat, if I'm just crazy, can we actually get leftists arrested for doing this May 1st thing? Cynthia! W Cynthia! W's Kristen, thank you! Yeah, they want to, listen. They want to fucking take away Doge. They want to get rid of Doge after Doge but had all these big promises, and we never got those Doge checks we were promised. will be fucking Doge. we will hand deliver a list to the federal fucking government saying these people all committed a felony on May 1st. Do you want to, get off your lazy fucking asses and actually go arrest them, please? Because they all committed a felony by participating in a mass general strike, which they're not legally allowed to do. Can you assholes actually do something? Yeah, look at me. Look at me. We're Doge now. We are Doge now.
Benefits are also set by Congress. We can't even negotiate those with our unions. But we chose public service because we believe in something bigger than ourselves. We believe in a government that serves all people, not just the wealthy, not just the powerful. So Mayday, this coming Mayday 2026, is really an opportunity to think about some creative ways of resisting together with the community. And so a couple weeks ago, the San Francisco Bay Area hub of the Federal Unionist Network voted to endorse the California Billionaire Tax Act, which some of you might know about. It's a tax, 5% tax on the wealth of 200 Californians worth more than $1 billion. And it would go towards healthcare, hospitals that would close, emergency rooms that would close, and Californians who are going to lose healthcare coverage, as well as public education and food assistance. So this Mayday, I think this can be a great opportunity to make sure that we get the Billionaire Tax Act on the ballot. We have until June of this year to gather almost 900,000 signatures. So this is a great opportunity to engage on this effort and come together around shared demands for healthcare and for public services. And as federal workers, we know that our billionaire bosses really just want to dismantle the institutions that keep our state and keep our country running so that they can keep their Trump tax cuts and they can hoard their profits themselves. Californians deserve better, and obviously we know taxing the rich is the bare minimum. So as part of the fun, yes, so we're asking you to ask your coworkers to put the Billionaire Tax Act on the ballot.
Thank you. We have 5 minutes. What's that time we have? 5 minutes. So let me ask my little extra question. Yeah, my people are leaving. I'll call you. Call me, okay? I need to give every one of them the phone number, email addresses. But anyway, seriously, one thing that I thought was good in the film that Freddie mentioned in terms of the declining union density, but I thought also if you think about organizations, that we have some weaknesses as well. And we know that many members of organizations that aren't on the program. Not being critical, simply reality of existence.
Yo, Hans, what the fuck? W's, Hans. Thank you so much for the 20 gifted channel memberships. Really appreciate you, bro. Welcome to all the 20 new channel members. Big swinging dick, Hans. Back again. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. May sound like a conservative retard, but come on, okay, listen, again, I really want to emphasize this. If you are genuinely asking a question, I will never shame you for asking a question. Hang on, though, hang on. Bosnots. Bosnots is in his new job. Bosnots is employed again. And what does Bosnots do? He gives out 20 channel memberships to people in the community. What a massive W for Fosnots, getting us over the goal. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I really didn't think we were going to meet that goal today. Like, me having to beg to get to 30 fucking channel memberships after the mass volunteer effort, I was like, I don't even know. I just don't know if this is doable today. It was like a Monday. I was like, I don't even know. But you know what? We made it. Hey, thank you everyone who donated a channel membership. Even if I Catholic guilt tripped you into it, it's for the greater good. I really, really, really appreciate it. Can't thank you guys enough for allowing me to do this. Okay, let's go back to our question. If you have a question, please ask it. I'm not going to make fun of you. And listen, it's like we were all retards once, okay? We're all retards once, so don't worry about it. Have they ever said what kind of percentage they would tax the rich? Okay, you've got to understand that the post-capitalist world that they want to create will have no money. So it's not, again, you're talking about AOC. You're still under the impression that AOC is a leftist. AOC is not a leftist. AOC is a progressive. The real leftists do not like AOC. So anything that AOC says, you need to like remove that from your brain and remind yourself that no matter how many conservative retard influencers say that AOC is a leftist, AOC is not actually a leftist. She's a progressive, okay? In the real communist utopia that they want to create, they want there to be no money. There will be no money. There will be no banks. There will be no private home ownership. There will be no private land ownership. There will be no private apartment rental ownership. All of this will be owned by the collective. There will be no private intellectual property. There will be no private businesses. No one will be rich. Everyone will be equally poor. No one will be rich. You will not own any assets. Everything will belong collectively to everyone, including the food supply, by the way. And so how much do they want to tax everyone? 100%? Everyone, though. Not just the rich. Everyone. They want to eliminate all money. So there's your answer. It's a moneyless society. Money will not exist. No one will be rich. Yeah, you'll eat bugs and you'll be happy. Exactly.
They need to be touched, reached also. So can you give me a sense of one thing you're doing to address the folk, not those that are hardcore MAGA, that's another conversation.
Okay. And for anyone, what's the incentive to work? Yeah, this is the next question that's always asked. Thank you, Nick, for anticipating this. So if there's no money, then why would I work? If you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't work, you don't eat. That's the incentive. No. You are repeating a progressive talking point. There are progressive groups. AOC is a progressive. You have never once heard the term tax the rich at a far left event. It has never fucking happened, okay? So what you're thinking about, it's their fault for saying it. No, bro, there's a whole fuck ton of progressives that actually believe that shit. We're not talking about the progressives. We're talking about the far left. It's your responsibility, and I understand you're new and you're learning, and that's cool. But this is the type of feedback you need in order to learn. You have to learn to differentiate between the groups and how to compartmentalize the information. So it's not like, it's their fault for doing this. Like, that's fucking stupid, bro. That's fucking stupid. They're talking about what they believe. Your ability to understand them is your responsibility. It's not their responsibility. You have to be able to compartmentalize. Oh, AOC isn't a communist because conservative influencers lied to me. She's really a progressive. Progressives believe this. This is going to be happening at progressive events. AOC does not believe the things that real communists and socialists believe. She's not advocating for those things. They don't agree with her. They don't like her. These are two different groups. I really don't mean to make you feel bad. I'm not trying to. I'm giving you the feedback you need to understand in order to understand the situation. You are responsible for compartmentalizing the information. You're responsible for learning it. They are not responsible for making it easy for you to understand. We are studying their subculture. They're not hand delivering this information to us. Progressives, you're talking about progressives. Those are progressives. This is not what we're talking about. Progressives. It's like people don't listen to me sometimes, and I have to shout. Let me just scroll through the chat. Want to make sure there's no... No, I wouldn't say that either. We don't make shit up here, Dan. You just made that shit up. Do not make shit up here. Cool. I appreciate that, Red Menace Guru. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. Progressives are still capitalist. Progressives go right up to the line, but they don't cross over it. Progressives want to maintain capitalism. They just want the government to provide them with a lot of free stuff. If a policy involves money, it's not communist. This is actually a really good rule of thumb because, again, communists want to eliminate all money, so they don't even think like that. So that's actually a great rule of thumb. If something involves money, like tax the rich, then it's not a communist or socialist policy. I don't know how conservatives have such a hard time comprehending that progressives and communists are not the same thing. I'm going to explain this. Conservatives are in an information ecosystem where they are lied to constantly by people they trust to inform them about the left. Conservatives listen constantly, and they should really stop doing this, but they refuse. They listen constantly to people who say, Democrats are communists, Democrats are communists, Democrats are communists, Democrats are communists, Kamala Harris was a communist, Biden was a communist, Obama was a communist, AOC is a communist. They listen to people who say this constantly, okay? So when they come over here and we're like, no, that's actually not true, they get really mad and really upset because their favorite influencers, who are more like celebrities to them that are putting on some sort of like entertainment, it's not even about being well informed. It's just about they like this person as an entertainer, and so they listen to them. That person lies to them repeatedly. They listen to a lot of the same influencers who are shilling the same lies. And then it basically, this is why I say conservative influencers are making their audience literally retarded. And if you come from that world, of listening to the conservative bullshit con artists, and you don't understand what's going on, it's not your fault. But now that you have been presented with the information and you can see clearly, I'm not creating this evidence. This is what leftists say in their own spaces. Once you have access to the information, it becomes your responsibility to take that information in and assimilate it. And if you refuse to do that because your favorite influencer keeps going, Democrats are communists, Democrats are communists, Democrats don't have jobs, Democrats are lazy, Democrats are stupid, nothing that they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Democrats are communists, and Democrats are communists, and communists are stupid, and they're narcissistic, and blah, 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 blah. They don't have jobs, and they're lazy, and they're all paid protesters, and Democrats are communists, and communists are Democrats, and blah, 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 blah. If you're listening to that same bullshit every single day, you are going to be made retarded. And you need to stop doing that, but that's your decision. Bro, exactly. How many people here? Let me ask in the chat. Red Menace Guru says, I was abused by conservatives. It's not my fault. It feels like a therapy session. You're funny, but it's also really not. No, I'm being deadly serious. You have been. Everyone who listened to these people, everyone who listened to these fucking grifter con artists that lied to you for years and years and years, you were abused by them. And even what's worse than that, you probably paid them money to have them abuse you and lie to you and misinform you and completely fuck up how you understand the world. You were abused by them, bro. One in the chat, if you feel like you've been abused by the conservative influencer ecosystem who lied to you and misinformed you. 2 in the chat if you don't feel like you were abused by the conservative influencer ecosystem. I want to see. I know you're not alone here. 1 in the chat if once you have access to this information and you see directly for yourself, you feel like you were abused by the conservative influencer bullshit ecosystem. 2 in the chat if you're totally okay with them lying to and misinforming millions of fucking people. Yeah. Or used. That's also a good one. I was used. I was used as a tool of the conservative media system. I was the Democrat who left the left in 2020. I was on all these fucking shows because I was used by the conservative system as they were fucking lying to me, as they were misinforming me, as they were lying to millions of people, as they were misinforming millions of fucking people. It is abusive. And there's a lot of people who, once they start watching this content, they start to get really angry at how much they were lied to by conservative fucking media. Taken advantage of? Yup. Yeah, I felt that too. Yup. So, it's not your fault if you were lied to, but once you have access to the information, it's your responsibility what you do with it. And this is why I extend so much energy trying to teach people. This is why I repeat the same things every single day of my life. Because there are so many people who are lied to, and there are so many people here who end up here looking for real information, and they've literally just never seen it before. So if you're new, if you're feeling pissed off, welcome.
But people we know are good folk, not actively engaged. What one thing are you doing in your organization? What one structures are you building concretely to bring folk who are normally engaged to get engaged? So beyond the true believers, beyond the activists, people who we need gotta get emotional. What one thing could you do? Yeah.
So
Yeah, we like Owen
couple
Schroyer
of
and
things
Harrison
that
Smith.
we're looking into, and we've actually started in the Bay Area. We know that we are a diverse community of workers in my local, as in all locals, I would imagine. And so we realize that there's no, one size fits all. So what we do in Sonoma is different from what we do in San Francisco.
What one thing that you do?
And so what we are doing is dissecting that and addressing the issues that relate to that to those areas individually, as opposed
bro.
to just having.
You think Mark Levin is a true believer? Mark Levin is a true believer in one thing, and that one thing is Israel. Mark Levin puts Israel before America. That's what Mark Levin believes in. You're a fucking retard if you listen to Mark Levin. I'm sorry.
One large program. So we know that there are MAGA. Some of our members are MAGA. But we are also identifying what are the issues in your area that matters to you in that community. And we're therefore using those issues to help to garner the engagement and the support.
Appreciate that. Francisco?
Count everything. And what I mean by that is we use a term, structure test, right?
Structure test.
And if
Structure
we're not
test.
able to count it,
Structure test.
we're not able to really ensure that we've actually checked that box, and we've actually been able to hit that step. And so one thing that we're doing right now is every single time that we're talking to a member, we're going to enter it into a database and identify what are the issues that this member really highlighted. What is it that we need to do to follow?
Another way you might think about a structure test. Did anyone ever take karate growing up? I'm about to ask a weird question. Fosnots, I'll answer that in a second. One in the chat if you ever took karate growing up? 2 in the chat if you never took karate. I swear to God it's relevant to this. 1 in the chat if you took karate, 2 in the chat if you didn't take karate. Okay. Fun fact, I took karate growing up and I have a brown belt in karate. I didn't quite make it to black belt. I made it pretty fucking far though. I got the brown belt in karate when I was like 12, but still. In karate, when you're making your way through the belt system, you have to meet certain criteria to go on to the next level of belt, okay? In order to go, I'll get that super chat in a second, Odin, thank you. In order to go from white belt to yellow belt, you need to achieve step A, B, and C. And then once you get to yellow belt, you're learning the next level of skills. And then once you achieve those skills, you get the orange belt. Okay? Wait, is it orange? I forget. Whatever the order the fucking belts are in. And then once you get to orange belt, you have to achieve a whole bunch of other stuff. And then you get a blue belt. Okay. And then so everything that you're achieving, you're building on the different layers of the thing. So you start as a beginner and you achieve these steps and you keep advancing up through the system, and you have to take a test every single time to make sure you can do the things, and yada, 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 yada. Think of it, for people who understand this analogy, a structure test like the left is doing is like your test for your next level of karate belt. Okay. The left is saying, we did X, Y, B, and Z, and we think we're going to have this result. And then they do a structure test, and they're testing to see, did we actually accomplish the things we think we do? If they did accomplish those things, they go on to the next level. And then they say, okay, we're here. We have to get, in order to get from here to here, we have to achieve X, Y, B, and Z. And then they go do those things, they organize around those things, and then they do another structure test, like a protest or a rally or an event, or they have someone do something in order to test, did we actually do the things we think we did? And if they get a yes to that, they go on to the next level. Okay. This is what they're doing. They're not the No Kings protest is not about March 28th, 2026. The No Kings protest is just a structure test to see how many people can we get to come out for a single day mass event after we've done X, Y, B, and Z. Does everyone understand? 1 in the chat if you understand the analogy I'm making, 2 in the chat if this is confusing. You've got to stop thinking of things the left does as a one-off protest. It's not a one-off protest. It's part of a multi-year plan to earn their fucking black belt in karate, and they're going through all the different levels and having all the different structure tests, and May 1st, 2028 is the day they're going to try to fucking earn their black belt in karate. Let's see. We got a super chat. Thank you, Odin, for the super chat. Because of your help, I'm going to redo my intelligence curriculum for prepper groups regarding left-wing groups. Yes, that sounds actually fucking awesome. You absolutely can show it to me sometime. That would be rad, bro. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Boss Knots asks, among conservative content, which is more dangerous? Is it the grifter or the ones that drank the Kool-Aid? It's both. It's both. But like, the grifters are the ones spreading the lies and misinformation. And I mean, grifters are probably more dangerous if we're being honest about it, because if you pay them money, they will literally say anything. People who are only doing this to make money, if you just pay them money, they will literally say anything. And so they're probably more dangerous than the ones who drank the Kool-Aid. But the ones who drank the Kool-Aid are just as dangerous because they won't fucking listen. They won't listen and get it through their heads, and they keep lying and just spreading the misinformation. So they're both dangerous. I think I would have to say I think grifters are probably more dangerous than people who drink the Kool-Aid. Sometimes people who drink the Kool-Aid can be woken up. Sometimes, not often. But grifters, you can never wake up. Grifters, you can never reason with. Grifters will say literally anything they have to say in order to make money and to have clout and status and all of those things.
Up to ensure that they're feeling like they're acknowledged and heard from, because that's a big disconnect that we changed in our union from a service.
Speaking of conservatives being misinformed, I heard a group of billionaires who funded the No Kings rally. Not really. That's a conservative bullshit narrative. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry to tell you this. Anyone who believes that these were all paid protesters funded by billionaires, you've been consuming conservative retard content that's lying to you. This is what we've been talking about for the past 20 minutes. Like, this is literally conservative retard, like, propaganda. No one is funding the Mayday protests. The Mayday protests are funded by mutual aid. The No Kings protest was funded primarily by a progressive group called Indivisible. The far left groups that showed up at the Mayday protest were not funded by anyone. The millions and millions and millions of people who came out to the Mayday protests were not funded by anyone. They were not paid protesters. There was a big organization called Indivisible that coordinated all of it, but that doesn't mean all of it was funded, and that doesn't mean they were all paid protesters. That is a conservative bullshit narrative. Mayday events are more far left than the No Kings protest. Mayday events are funded by mutual aid. They are not funded by any billionaires. Anyone who says they are funded by billionaires is lying to you for money, and you should stop listening to them immediately because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Model to an organizing union. And that happened over the course of 2 presidents over the past 4 to 6 years.
Chris. I mean, we're not like, we've always said we were like a union in the community, but I think our work is going to stay the same, where we knock on doors and we organize low to moderate income communities. So much of our work is always getting people to be a part of an organization to fight on, like, to build power locally so they can change the system. And so that is the continued work, and even getting other groups to take on that very model of, like, talking to strangers, right? Because, like, they're, like, I think we're hearing it from
No, they don't. This is also a conservative bullshit narrative. Communists do not like liberals. They hate liberals more than they hate conservatives. Communists do not like Democrats. They hate Democrats more than they hate conservatives. Communists tolerate progressives because they think they can recruit and radicalize progressives to the far left. So no, it is a conservative bullshit narrative that the far left and the Democrat, or the libs, the left calls them liberals, not libs, that is a conservative bullshit narrative that these groups work together at all. They do not, and they do not like each other, and they do not support each other.
Union that's like, we gotta talk to the MAGA people. It's like, I went door knocking in Bakersfield. I got bit by a chihuahua. I kept door knocking in Bakersfield. Don't bring that Bakersfield chihuahua up here to Oakland. We don't want that combination of chihuahua running our streets. But I think it's the same work that we all have to do, is we gotta talk to each other, we gotta build community, we have to identify the issues that are important to us, because the other side didn't happen all of a sudden. The MAGA person didn't just come from the ground. That was like, they felt it, except the other side got to them first. And so we need to talk to our people. We need to, like, disrupt, because people are not unorganized. They're organized in a particular way. And so we gotta fuck up what that is and organize it in the way that we need to change things, and to also build power.
Yeah, so one of the things that the Federal Unionist Network we're really encouraging all federal workers to do is to come together and speak with their coworkers about what is going on, kind of like you all are doing. And so recently we really encouraged a lot of federal unionists to come together with their coworkers and talk about what it means to have a fellow federal worker, a union brother, executed, Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, who was a VA nurse and a union member of American Federation of Government Employees. And so I'm a member of a union. I'm a member of the National Labor Relations Board union, and we did that at our union. We came.
This is an interesting question. Does the far left hate liberals because liberals are more effective of countering the far left than the right? Yeah, honestly. Yeah. Actually, yeah. The far left views liberals as more problematic to their revolutionary plans and goals than they view conservatives. They talk about liberals way more, guys. If you've never watched the far left with me, once you start watching the far left, they shit talk liberals way more than conservatives. They shit talk liberals every single day. They may not like conservatives, but conservatives aren't really a problem insofar as, like, disrupting their organizing or anything like that. If anything, they use getting people pissed off about conservatives and Trump in order to recruit and radicalize people. By the way, the far left loved it when Trump got reelected. The far left was never happier than when Trump got reelected. No, they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. No, they don't vote for Democrats. Sorry to disappoint. The far left wanted Trump to get elected because they have never recruited as many people in the last couple years as they have since Trump got elected. That Trump getting elected for them and Republicans like winning the House and the Senate and all that, that was like a fucking gift from God in terms of far left recruiting. So they obviously don't like Trump or conservatives. They don't agree with them, but like they consider liberals to be way, 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 way more problematic in terms of like them actually accomplishing their goals. Yeah. Liberals are a threat to them, not Republicans or MAGA. Exactly.
Together, we talked about what did it mean for us as federal workers to see this, to see the increase in ISIS funding and know our budget is being cut. And this was coming right before, this was like about 2 weeks ago. And actually, as a result of the meetings and the discussions between members, the National Labor Relations Board Union issued a statement that the union was willing to support a shutdown if that meant reforming ICE. If that meant our members would be willing to forego salaries, if that meant that ICE got less money. And which is amazing. The National Labor Relations Board Union has never issued a statement like that before. It was definitely a first.
They explicitly classify themselves as a completely different group. They have always been a completely different group. If you don't understand that, you've been consuming too much conservative retard content.
So that's one example of how we're organizing, how we're speaking out, and really.
I mean, how many days a week do I post videos of people that of like leftist content creators? How many, like, okay, if you follow me on Twitter, how often do you see me post videos from leftist content creators saying, here is the difference between a leftist and a liberal. Here is why liberals are not socialists. Here is the difference between a communist and a Democrat. Like, they literally post this content almost every single fucking day. Almost every single fucking day of the week, I'm getting leftist content in my feed, just recommended content, not stuff I'm looking for, of leftists saying, we are not Democrats. We are not liberals. We do not like liberals for reason X, Y, B, and Z. We are different than them. I post this shit literally almost every fucking day of the week. That's how much of this is posted. Do you know what happens when I post this? I get conservative retards in my comments going, they're all liberals and they don't have jobs. The left is very, very open about what they believe. They are very, very specific about not being liberals. They are very, very vocal about not liking liberals, not working with liberals. And conservatives cannot wrap their heads around this at all. It's like fucking impossible. Literally every single website for every single group specifically states they hate the fucking Democrats.
Be contributing to the fight for a better government.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your contributions on May night. To give the mic to somebody here.
Let's hear it for our panel.
Hey everybody, my name is Keith Brown. I work for Labor Notes as an organizer. And if you know anything about Labor Notes, we're going to bring this back to members in our own organizations now. So we're going to throw this question, actually very similar one that Stephen just asked, back to you all. Think about the organization you are most active in, union or community organization. And let's all take 10 seconds to think about what's the next step we're going to do to try and make our organization more powerful with inactive members more involved, taking more leadership in our organization than they have been already, to be more powerful by Mayday 2028, hopefully even by Mayday 2026. Let's take 10 seconds to think about that. You all can kick it if you want, or
Labor Notes is just another group on the left. They probably publish like a newsletter or something. They're like a group organizing labor. I don't know a lot about them other than like I know they show up at these things sometimes. I think I got stuff from them when I was in San Francisco.
Yeah, you're welcome to. If you want.
Pretty sure.
Take your seats. Okay, thank you all again. Okay, so let's hear from somebody in the union first. Do you have an idea for what that next step might look like? Of a next step in your union that you're going to try and work on to help more members be active?
See, this is a group of union members, guys. What are the next steps that you're going to do in your union to organize for Mayday 2026 and Mayday 2028?
More powerful by Mayday. Sonia, in the back. Yeah, please.
Thank you. I thought it was something like that. Thank you.
I'm on staff with you. Oh, thank you. I'm Sonia. I'm on staff.
Yeah. Yeah. Happens, Chad. Happens. Once you realize that they're lying to you, you can never unsee it, bro. Once you see it, you can never unsee it.
Oh, it is? Okay. Great. I'm on staff with Unite Your Local 2, Hotel and Food Service Workers Union. And one thing that we're going to be participating.
So they're going to list their unions. Oh, this is great. This is a hotel food service union.
Hotel and Food Service Workers Union.
Hotel Food Service Workers Union. Okay.
And one thing that we're going to be participating in coming up that I think is a step towards building the kind of solidarity that we're trying to build to fight fascism is participating in a training at the Alameda Labor Council to protect Oakland schools against ICE as part of the OEA Rapid Responders Network.
Oh, wow. Working with teachers.
I've been working actually with a group of people partially coming out of some labor note stuff, but really trying to like dig deep and not just have the people who come out to that be like our most active members, but like thinking about who are the people who like have kids in Oakland schools who live in Oakland, you know, and not just going to like the most obvious members, but thinking through who are the people who might be down to be in solidarity in this moment, even if they're not always the same people. And also very excited to have those people come through and connect with that same kind of group of workers from other unions who maybe are not the same ones who are always coming to Labor Council events. So I have flyers for that if you're interested. And if you're in a union, come talk to me. But yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. All right, so getting members trained, getting people in open conversations who haven't yet been super active in their union, but finding that next layer of folks in our unions who can step up around defending our immigrant siblings. See brother from IBW here? Yeah. All right. Let's try to keep it to like a few sentences each so we hear from a lot of folks. Go for it.
Matt Scott, IBW Local 6, 27 years, got a union meeting tonight. The concrete things we can do is fight to eliminate the no strike clauses in our unions.
Oh!
We can fight in the building trades against PLAs, which require us to SCAG. I'm going to my union meeting tomorrow as part of a committee to organize the unorganized.
The building trade, you say. The building trade, you say. Because to listen to conservatives, there would be no leftists in the building trades. That should be a good conservative job, a good blue collar job where they build things with their hands. It's a real job, according to conservatives. Not all these fake activist jobs, but a real job. The building trades. Kind of sounds like they're organizing like leftists to me.
We're part of CREW, a national caucus in the IBEW and among electrical workers. Our members are being told that they should work during the strike by the teachers in San Francisco, just like they were told that they should work during the Oakland teachers strike, because all of the construction at these schools is covered by these project labor agreements, right? So this is the fight. How do we tear out the no strike language? How do we make it in our contracts? We're not worried about the law, right? We can get around the law. Trump doesn't care about the law. We shouldn't.
Yo, old sub. Thank you for the super chat. The reason that conservatives can't tell the difference within the left tiers is that it requires research or watching this podcast without being banned for arguing or pontificating. They can't keep their fucking mouth shut. So real. So real. So real. And yet you have to keep your mouth shut if you want to learn. I appreciate it, old sub. Thank you.
We can't have our own union leaders putting it in our contracts that we're going to scab on other unions when they're on strike. We see it with the nurses at Kaiser. We see it with the teachers and all the different unions
Listen, there are exceptions to this rule. If you're a conservative that can shut the fuck up and listen, we're not talking about you. I want to emphasize this. You, Red Menace Guru, you come to streams all the time. You listen. You ask good questions even when you're afraid to do it because you think you might look like a retard. Like, there are exceptions to the conservatives can't shut the fuck up and listen rule. But you have got to understand that the vast, 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 vast majority of responses we get from conservatives is that they can't shut the fuck up and listen. Like, it's just like, it is fucking impossible. If you saw my Twitter replies on any given day of the week, literally you would be shocked. If you are not on my Twitter feed and looking at the replies I get, anytime I try to post sense, like, just go look at my replies sometimes when I'm posting stuff trying to explain the left. Just take a peek into the insanity that like, to the point where I mostly don't even look at the fucking comments anymore because it black pills me on humanity. There are exceptions to the rule. That does not mean the rule is not there for a reason.
Just to end, my wife is an SEIU member.
Oh, yeah?
At the Oakland Unified School District. Her last
wow, at the school.
They told her, don't even think about calling in sick. We're not backing you up. Right? So it's like, this is what we're up against. And it's all very much tied in with what something people wanted to dodge. The ties to the liberal bourgeoisie. The Democratic Party is the party of imperialism.
Whoa! Did we just stumble upon a moment where they're going to be shitting on Democrats? Hang on. Let me finish painting that nail. To dodge the ties to the liberal bourgeoisie. Okay. We are about to hear a building trade union member talk about how they don't like liberals and they don't like the Democratic Party. Is everyone listening? Is everyone paying attention? Liberal bourgeoisie means liberal capitalist.
About calling in sick. We're not backing you up. Right? So it's like, this is what we're up against. And it's all very much tied in with what something people wanted to dodge. The ties to the liberal bourgeoisie.
Oh.
The Democratic Party is the party of imperialism.
No kidding.
Just like the Republicans. And if we're going to win the masses of workers.
The Democratic Party is no different than the Republicans. They're both imperialist. That means capitalist.
I know them. I'm a building trades construction worker.
A construction worker!
Nurses, you see it among all layers of the workforce. Black, Latino, Asian, many of them have embraced MAGA. When you say they got to them first, yeah, but they were pushed away by a left and a union leadership that told them to vote for the enemy as well.
All of these people who got pulled into MAGA, all of these working class people who got pulled into MAGA, they were pushed away by the Democratic Party because they were the enemy. That's what they're saying, guys. They believe the Democratic Party drove the labor movement into the open arms of MAGA because the Democratic Party was so bad. These are not Democrats. These don't vote for Democrats. These don't support Democrats. These are socialists. Listen again.
Something people wanted to dodge. The ties to the liberal bourgeoisie. The Democratic Party is the party of imperialism. Just like the Republicans. And if we're going to win the masses of workers, I know them. I'm a building trades construction worker, right? But you see it among the nurses, you see it among all layers of the workforce. Black, Latino, Asian, many of them have embraced MAGA. When you say they got to them first, yeah, but they were pushed away by a left and a union leadership that told them to vote for the enemy as well.
All right, let's hear from some other people. I think a lot of people can riff on this in their own context. All right, so solidarity strikes, making sure we can stand solidarity with other unions, really concrete thing to fight for in our union contracts. Let's hear from another union and then maybe a community organization or two. I'm going to check this side of the room, see if we got somebody, union member. Okay, go for it.
Not a union, community member.
I'm wearing a mask.
Let's get to you in a second then. Let's do one more union. Okay, yeah. This person right here. Thank you.
Lawrence Abbott, Teamsters Local 70, and an officer with the Labor Council. I heard somebody on the panel say that we need to build the movement so that for system change, build power for system change. And I think that could be unifying with all of our workers.
See, and here we go. Conservative retards don't want to fucking hear it. Excuse me. I know everything about the building trade, and I'm going to ignore the video evidence that I have right in front of me, and I'm just gonna pinky swear, trust me, bro, with no evidence to back up my claims that most of those building trade unionists are really Republicans, okay? And I didn't just see the fucking video that Karlyn played several times. Oh, I'm a wrong fucking college girl. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, you conservative fucking retard. You can call me doctor, you fucking incompetent bitch, except that you just got banned from my chat for not fucking listening. Welcome to my Twitter replies every day of the week, except multiply that one retard comment by about 150 on any given day at a minimum.
I'd like to, I suspect that if everybody added one simple demand to everything else they're doing for the We the People Amendment to overturn citizenship.
Oh, look at this. I was told to ignore Karlyn because she was a crazy lefty. Only retards think I'm a leftist. Karlyn has opened my eyes that Con Inc. wanted me asleep at the wheel so they could guide me where they wanted. Exactly. Amazing things happen when you actually listen instead of like regurgitating conservative retard bullshit. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
United and corporate personhood and corporate power and money is speech. Then that could be the core of all of our movements across environmental, labor, and everything. And that would absolutely to system change as it kicks the corporation out of our politics and government.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. Yeah, I am in real life.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we've heard some different ideas from changing our contracts for stronger strikes to political demands taking on corporations as unifying to bring new members in, workshops and trainings to bring new members in. Let's hear about a community organization that somebody's a part of and what a next step you want to take there to get stronger, more powerful, people more active for Mayday. All right. I see one person over here in the white black hat. Thank you for running mine.
Hey, I'm Scott. I work with a number of community groups that are mostly out of the climate movement. I'm excited to be here tonight. You know, one thing the groups we're working with are doing a lot of trainings. We're doing a lot of small actions. We actually have a direct action training on Saturday. We're having another one.
Thanks, Rep Menace Guru.
Very
Love
inspired
you.
about what's happening in Minneapolis.
Appreciate it.
We see tens of thousands of people who are, you know, organized around their neighborhoods and their communities to intervene, to observe, to do whatever they can to disrupt ICE. And that's actually what we're doing. It's like I work with a group called Ideological and Rainforest Action Network, and with Oil and Gas Action Network, and so we're just actually trying to build up as many people to, participate in whatever disruption intervention we need to do going forward.
Thank you. All right. And I see that we hand up here from our, was that?
Yeah.
Want to jump in with this? Yeah, please do. Okay.
It was a quick plug. We're also working with Bay Resistance on, I think it's March 14th. There's going to be a mass public training on actually how to talk to, our neighbors and how we start organizing towards Mayday. We don't have everything set up, but as soon as we have that, we'll send it out. to whoever's the head of these.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace. Yeah, this hits on a theme. I would love to hear, especially from community organizers, one or two people speak to getting people beyond just the members of your organization, but their members, people they're connected to. Something we can also think about in our unions. We heard teachers talk about tapping into the students and families in their community. So what does that look like in your community organization? I see a person back here.
Yeah. I'm with 1,000 grandmothers. I'm with 1,000 grandmothers for future generations, which is say what? I'm from 1,000 grandmothers for future generations. We began as a climate organization that's still at our hearts.
1,000 grandmothers for future generations.
In this period, we're doing a number of different things. Many of us are part of the Oakland Unified School District's school patrols. We also, in my neighborhood, 4 grandmothers decided to just mark off an area of just a few blocks and knock on every door. So the 4 of us did 250 door knocks. And not everybody was home, but we had a lot of conversations and we left flyers everywhere. And then we had a hot chocolate social. And we told people, though, that we want to build resistance to ICE should it come to our area, but that people should show up just for the social.
The fucking grandmothers. The fucking grandmothers. The leftist grandmothers are doing anti-ICE organizing, guys. The leftist fucking grandmothers are I cannot even.
Social. They didn't have to already be part of that. But about 45 people came to the social, and it was great.
Excuse me. I didn't like the way you spoke to me after I asked you a question where I was obviously being informed by conservative retards. You should not let your emotions show. I would not be a good candidate. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, Kathy. So what you're telling me, Kathy, is that you are useless to me. You're not going to provide any good information about the left. You refuse to engage with this content, and you're giving me advice about my emotions? What you're taking away from this, Kathy, this 3-hour fucking class that I've given you on the left, the big takeaway that you have is, excuse me, Karlyn, you need to be better at controlling your emotions. Kathy, go fuck yourself. Get the fuck off my channel. Go back to your conservative retard machine. Go hear all those lies that you love to hear. Go believe that they're all funded by Soros and they're all paid protesters and that you guys really have all the votes you need to win the midterms in November. You're not useful to me here, Kathy. Go away. We don't want you here.
We all met each other. And the next thing we're doing is we're making whistle packets.
Grandma's making the whistle packets.
We're trying to do 500 and then distribute them to our neighbors and keep the conversation going. So.
Like, seriously, imagine sitting through this entire fucking stream. You don't listen to the stream at all. You don't listen to the training at all. You don't listen to what the leftists are actually saying. And your big takeaway is, Karlyn made me feel bad, and she needs to not make me feel bad because my feelings are the top fucking priority. That's Kathy. We don't want Kathy's here. Kathy needs to go away.
Area. But that people should show up just for the social.
Exactly.
They didn't have to already be part of that. But about 45 people came to the social.
Oh my God. The conservative brain is better. Bro, don't fucking care. Time out for being retarded and not paying attention. It's the very end of the stream, and we're just now getting the conservative retard comments. It's like, can we please hold it together? We have 5 minutes left of this fucking stream. Conservatives, can you please rein in your fucking feelings? And if you really can't control your emotions, conservatives, if you're really so hell-bent on coming into my chat to own the libs, just get the fuck off my channel. There's the door. You don't need to announce your departure. Just leave.
And it was great. We all met each other.
It's not going to happen.
And we are, the
Don't
next
worry
thing
about
we're
it.
doing is we're making whistle packets where we, put packets together. We're trying to do 500.
Cynthia!
And then distribute them to
W's!
our neighbors and keep the
Thank you,
conversation
Cynthia!
going. So.
It's really, I mean,
And then
seriously, the fucking nerve.
in the second back row.
The fucking nerve. Interrupting our class to
I'm one
whine.
of an organization called Open the Police Archives, and it's a organization that is picking up the fight for where Black Lives Matter and like the fight with like after the death of George Floyd has basically died down with the election of Biden. We work with members of like people whose children and like other members of their family have faced police brutality. One of the ways that we're able to like bring in other people and like keep it open is that an organization like the Big Tent, like the DSA, understands the importance of like big tents where like we have a common goal with different strategies and different politics. And Open the Police Archives works very much in this way in that other organizations like OARPR, APTP, a bunch of people have different ideas for how you get justice for police brutality, but as long as you can unite behind the event, which is opening the police archives.
Hey, Kathy, do you know how many senior citizens I have in my community that are actually contributing productively and not whining and complaining in my chat? Perhaps you are the one that needs to learn how to control your emotions, Kathy. And I don't give a fuck if you're old. I truly, truly don't. You're in my fucking class. You're whining in the chat. It's not appropriate. Cut that shit out, or I'm just going to remove you from the chat.
Archives exposing the evidence that these killer cops have. That's how you will like get on the road towards justice for police brutality.
You don't
And so
get
that's one
special
way that
treatment
this
for being
organization,
old here, honestly.
does that, and like we obviously implore anyone over here who agrees with that to come join that fight.
Thank you for sharing. We've heard some inspiring examples and next steps from community organizations and unions, and I think that bond is really important. I want to share this one last.
This is, and I know we're pausing a lot. We just need to finish the fucking stream. But it's like, I can't get, like, on the leftist stream that we're watching right now, there is a grandmother getting up, saying she's part of a group of 10,000 grandmothers who are making whistle kits and who are supporting anti-ICE activism in their communities. The grandmothers on the left are completely fucking organized. The grandmothers on the right are whining in my chat about how I hurt their feelings and I should stop hurting their feelings. I don't expect senior citizens to be out there running around with Antifa like some of us are doing. I don't expect that, man. I don't expect that. I don't even expect conservatives to do anything, to be honest with you. You know what? Sometimes the best senior citizens and older people can do is just financially support, and that's pretty fucking cool when they do that, and I do have a lot of older people who support my work, and that's fucking awesome. I'm not shitting on senior citizens, but when we're listening to a presentation where the left is like, we have a group of 10,000 grandmothers, and we're all sitting around in our knitting circles, making whistle kits and supporting anti-ICE activism and knitting hats for all those youngins that are out there doing the real work. Like, the grandmothers on the left are actually organized to do fucking leftist activism. The grandmothers on the right are whining and complaining about how everyone needs to cater to their feelings. I even have disabled people in my audience. Very true. I do. You're 82? No, you're not. Hans is lying again. This is like when Hans said he was black. Huh, I don't believe it. Are you really 82? I don't think you make pancakes for Antifa each morning, but I don't know, maybe. Yeah, the grandmas knitted the pink pussy hats. Where the fuck do you think the pink pussy hats came from? Hans is an 82-year-old black man. Mm-hmm. Hans is 82 and black. Hans was a passenger on the Underground Railroad. Hans was literally in the Holocaust, okay? Hans was on the Underground Railroad. Hans was literally in the Holocaust.
Saying a little new information on what May 2028 is looking like. There are currently, Labor Notice is about to put out a report I've been working on that about 800,000 workers around the country have contracts lined up to expire within about 2 months of May 2028 already. Not bad, good stuff. This year is a crucial year, and those of you who have 2027 expiring contracts too, to think about lining up your contract for that period for waves of strikes. And 800,000 is a good start, but remember that in Minneapolis, of the about 1 million people who did not work on January 23rd, only maybe 1 in 5 were in a union. So there's this huge ripple effect. If we think about organizing our neighbors, our students, our patients, community members we're connected to beyond our unions to be a part of this action too. So thank you for getting that conversation started. I hope we'll keep these relationships building, these ideas bubbling with the rank and file. Solidarity, y'all. Off to Michael.
It's my pleasure to thank you all for coming. Thank the panelists once again. And we have this is a room of organizers. I greeted most of you who came in. We need to do more. We've been challenged by the panel. Can we motivate our members? Can we motivate strangers? Can we align with organizations? Can we act on our values? Can we unite? Can we be creative? Can we count it? And can we build organizations in power? That is our challenge. Each of us is capable of doing our part. And this event is designed to be a catalyst for the next phase of work. 2 dates to keep in mind. March 14th, Bay Resistance is bottom lining a mass training for economic disruption. March 14th. March 28th.
They're doing a whole fucking training. Bay Area Resistance is bottom lining a training for, oh God, I'm gonna have to look that up. Bay Resistance. Hang on. Got it. Bay Resistance. Bay Resistance is a powerful network of community organizations, unions, and neighborhood groups organizing to defend our communities and defeat fascism in the Bay Area. And they are literally, I wonder if they have this on their website. We should look around for it. They are literally organizing a training specifically on the topic of economic disruption. Yeah, this is what makes the left so effective. They always ask themselves, what can we do? Well, the right declares we can't do anything. Yep, true. Very true.
14th. March 28th, the next No Kings March. Let's move those people into
resources,
politics that confronts corporate power and fascism. Let us help develop the politics of those people who are in motion. That is our challenge. That is our mission. And we are all capable of doing it. So let's go do it. Thank you very much.
All right. All right. We finally made it to the end of the training. Finally made it to the very end. All right. One in the chat. If you learned something in the course of this stream, I'm not asking you if you liked my attitude or if you appreciated all the disruptions where I yelled at people. One in the chat, if you learned something in this stream that you did not know before you arrived. 2 in the chat, if you knew all this information and you didn't learn anything new today. A lot of fucking ones. lot of ones per usual. And that's awesome. And that is my hope, guys. I hope I teach you something that you didn't know before on every single stream. It may not all be new information because a lot of this leftist stuff is very, very repetitive after a while. They all say the same thing. But I appreciate everyone who learned something new on the stream today. I appreciate people who donated 106 channel memberships, 106 new members to the stream. If you got a channel membership, you are going to be invited to our spy stream infiltrations. We do have one scheduled this week. There may be more that come up, but we have at least one. Spy stream is when we go inside a live leftist training and we watch it live. I will send out notifications when we are doing spy stream. If you're a YouTube channel member, you will be able to find that information in the post tab. If you're a Substack member, you can find it over there. If you're on Locals Patreon, a Twitter subscriber, you can find the information on whichever platform you're supporting on. What is the movie tonight? Oh, isn't it some Adam Sandler movie? What is the movie tonight, MacB? Yeah, we'll do that shout out in a second, Reagan. What is the movie tonight? Isn't it like some Adam Sandler? Daddy Daycare. I thought so. It's Daddy Daycare. Daddy Daycare is the movie tonight. Another thing that you get when you're a member on the channel is you get invited to my supporter Discord. You can actually find the link to the supporter Discord in the post tab right now. I will show you exactly where you find it. So if you are a member of the channel, if you just got your channel membership, what you want to do is go over to my YouTube channel homepage, click on the post tab, and at the very top of the tab, not on this screen because I'm not a member of my own channel under this account, but if you are a YouTube channel member, the very first post you're going to see is an invitation to my supporter Discord for last night's movie night. I can send out a new link if people need me to, but I don't really think people need me to. We do movie nights on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. and on Monday nights at 9 p.m. So MacB is hosting movie night tonight. It's going to be Daddy Daycare in the supporter Discord in about half an hour at 9 p.m. If you just got your channel membership, head over to the post tab. I may post it out again just because I want to send a reminder to people and stuff like that. So come and join us for movie night in the supporter Discord. We would love to have you there. We do movie nights every Sunday night at 8 p.m. and Monday nights at 9 p.m. And we appreciate MacB for that. Also, can we get one last shout out to JR, who donated $1,000 to my nonprofit, the Center for Left-Wing Studies, and the check literally just got cashed today? What a fucking legend. JR, we salute you. We really, really, really appreciate you. My dream one day is to get a big sugar daddy for my nonprofit that funds all of this stuff and allows me to hire people like Reagan from the community to come and map out the entire modern activist left. We are going to be, fingers crossed, holding a series of events this fall called Occupy Libraries, where I want to provide resources not only for me to travel around and do presentations in libraries talking about the far left, but I want to provide resources for you. I want to train an army of people who is going out and educating people about what the far left is doing using primary source evidence. If you ever want to do stuff like this, guys, you can use whatever my content you want. You don't have to wait for me to prepare it for you, although I am trying to prepare things to give you guys something that you can use, like clips and stuff like that. But you don't need to prepare. If there are clips of my work you want to use, if there are articles I've written over on the Substack that you want to use, if you want to use my Mapping the Modern Left framework, which you can find on decodetheleft.com/map, if you want to use any of this stuff to go into your community and teach people what's going on, you are welcome to use anything that I create, as long as you credit me and you like link back to my content or whatever. That's like literally all I ask, is that you give credit for the work so that people can find their way back here to have more access to the information, using whatever you want, clipping whatever stream you want. That's not the spy streams, but like any other stream. But that's all fair game if you want to use this information. And I want the Center for Left-Wing Studies to be a place where we are archiving what the left is doing, really thinking about it from a research perspective, from a detached perspective, where we are being really nuanced and critical of the information. And we are going to provide the highest quality intelligence that exists in the country on what the left is doing. So JR, we salute you. Thank you so much for donating to my nonprofit, bro. I really, really, really appreciate it. You rule. Thank you to everyone who gave to the stream today. I really appreciate it, guys. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. and I hope I will see you guys in movie night tonight. All right, take care. We'll see you soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here? 3 months, May 17th. And what brought you here? That's difficult to answer. Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital. That's difficult to answer.